Oh my god, it's so hot, it's so hot, it's so hot. Hi everyone, welcome to another part. It's so hot. If you guys don't know this about me, I'm generally a speakers user. I remember talking to Matt about this ages ago, and he was like, everyone uses headphones, and I was like, no, everyone uses speakers. But he was right. Generally speaking, I think the majority of people use headphones, but I like speakers. I don't like how hot I feel in headphones, and I feel like it's probably just that I've got the wrong brands or whatever, but whatever. Anyway, and especially on a hot, sweaty day, it's not nice to put them on. But I always wear them when I'm like making videos and things, because I don't really like the echo, as you guys well know. Occasionally it slips into a video and people talk about it. So anyway, yeah, I'm here boiling, hoping that my crappy, this is basically the same intro as we did last time, hoping my crappy leaky AC cools the room down. And yeah, I've just been doing some random PvP. A little update on the whole Vass thing. I was talking about playing Condi builds and using like Arcane Brilliance because it's a low cooldown. Well, Vass, is this an exploit? It's basically bad coding. You guys might have noticed a lot of the relics don't do what they say they do. You know, the text. Let's assume the tooltip is the intended behavior, right? Let's always assume that the tooltip text is God. Most of them don't actually do what they're saying on the tooltip, or the tooltip is like deficient, doesn't have enough information and stuff, and some of them are just straight up like weirdly coded. So Vass, right? Let's read this, be very clear. After you, who we now know is a Forgotten, after using a healing or an elixir skill, your next 3 weapon strikes inflict poison. Okay, so first of all, that says your next 3 weapon strikes. It's not weapon strikes, it's any strikes. We'll do it. So like I can inflict poison with, you know, my F5. I can inflict poison with any tick of damage anywhere, really. As long as it's from me, I'm the entity that cast it. So that's one thing. But the really important bit is, it says after using. So what is using? When I activate an ability, I'm already using it, right? So let's say I get interrupted in the middle of that ability. Have I used it and been interrupted, or have I not used it at all? Well, as far as I've seen over the years of Guild Wars 2, to say using, what they mean is completed casting. After you have completed casting, or to be even more nitpicky, after you've gained the benefit of a skill. Okay, so for example, I might run Ether Renewal, and I might start casting this. It gives me a heal, gives me a cleanse, and I get interrupted straight away. Now, I get a little bit of value out of that already, but it's been interrupted, so it will go on full cooldown, because I got a little bit of value. So in theory, Vass should proc if I get any value out of a skill, okay? But it doesn't work that way. They say after using, what you can actually do is start using and deliberately cancel cast a thing, like this.
A soothing mist.
And because this thing is coded that it ticks at the very start, and so I can actually give myself Vass for free any skill I like. So a really cool combo, you might say, is, okay, well, I'll use that as a Signet of Restoration, because I never really want to pop that, especially after the nerf. So I'll continue enjoying the benefits of the passive of my Signet, but I'll just activate and quickly cancel cast every now and then. Every 10 seconds you can do this, and you can get another 3 poison, which is a great cover Condi, and 3 poisons, you know, starting to edge up there, you'll actually feel the damage a little bit as well. It's also weirdly bugged. You see how I have 2 stacks now? If you overwrite the stacks, you lose 1 and he gives 2 back or something. It's very weird. Anyway, I don't think that's the behavior they want. They don't want people activating and then cancel casting, but that's what you can do with Vass. So the whole Arcane Brilliance combo is irrelevant. I can run the best heal, and I can use it with Vass, and as long as they don't pressure me so much I actually need to press this normally, I can keep refreshing Vass every 10 seconds, which is pretty crazy. And again, it's, you know, technically based, if we say the tooltip is God, I have used it, I've just then cancelled it. I don't know. So anyway, I've moved totally away from that combo anyway, especially after discovering that, because it feels like it's just nerf bait, you know. So I've gone back to Defender at them. Well, I don't know, I'm just running a bunch of different builds. Anyway, there you go, that's a little story there. Now, I got something pretty cool here. We're in the back Citadel again, because I've just got my Provisioners token with the 1 Obsidian Shard. I have gone on a bit of a shopping spree. Now, I did this off-stream, and I always do my shopping sprees off-stream because, do you know what, I'm an impatient person, and I don't like placing buy orders. I don't like that nervous, like vague anxiety that it will never fill and you need to keep tabs on it and make sure the market hasn't moved away from you, and I don't like that stuff, alright? I just like buying things. So I have spent way over the odds. I think last time you saw I had like 300 gold. I went back down to 100 and then earned another 100 from tournaments and stuff. But anyway, I spent way over the odds on a full set, and I haven't collected them, of Storm's Eye stuff.
This is rather rare.
So let's salvage these. Each of these is a part of a rare collection. And I hope I'm not doing the wrong thing here. As in, these are actually crafted into something else. That would be fucking brutal. That has happened in the past, and then what ArenaNet does is they add some kind of vendor which allows you to... I mean, I would expect maybe Sky Forged can turn into Storm's Eye, I don't know. They usually add, like in the Icebreed Saga, they added, like for the Boreal weapons, you could buy them cheap once more if you already had them or something. Anyway, there we go. What am I missing? Am I missing? No, there you go. That's it, it's done. That's the Storm's Eye weapon collector. Because I noticed that those were on the TP. They weren't like on the first couple of days, but I guess it's just because no one had made them. So then there's also Sky Scale. These are not on the TP. Sky Scale. And then if I go show only locked, nothing comes up, right? So those aren't on the TP. And then last but not least, there is Storm Forged. Or is it Shattered? I think it's Storm Forged. Yeah, the Shaman Stormforged stuff. So you see, this is 13 gold. If I put an order, it's only 10, right? That's quite a big difference, especially when you're going to scale that over a full set of like 15 or whatever. But I will buy these off screen and then salvage those. And we'll have that rare collection done. Leaving us with just the Shattered and the Sky Scale. Oh. Obviously, there's the 2 fractal ones. Oh, yeah, and then Sin Eater. This is the strike rewards. Oh, and I haven't shown you guys those. Okay, so we got to go look at that. There are some very cool rewards in the game right now. Very cool. And I'm not going to like... It's funny. Normally, when I'm like thinking about an X-Back, you know, I was asked to review them in the last part we did. Or when I'm like reading a press page and they start talking about the rewards you'll get. I usually don't really care much, right? I don't ever think of them in that way. But I must be honest, it's a brilliant feeling knowing that there's a cool reward to earn and something that you really want. And it's very difficult in Guild Wars to get that experience once you're an established player. Because, you know, you're going to find the skins that you like. Someone in Spud Chat was saying this just like yesterday. Oh my god, I forgot to do those invites. I'm really sorry, everyone. They were like, you know, you'll swap to your fancy new thing and then you'll just swap back. You won't use it anymore. And they're kind of right, you know, like they gave the example of the orbs, you know, from all the legendary accessories. And it's true, people don't tend to rep those orbs. Speaking of which, do you think we'll get another cosmetic on the legendary relic? Considering all of these ones give cosmetics, and they put it here on the UI, it kind of sets a precedent there, doesn't it? I wonder if ArenaNet even think about that. But yeah, okay, so there are good rewards in this X-Pack. Here, for example, wait, not you. Over here, the green shard vendor. Greens being the new currency. All of these count towards that rare collection, Sin Eater. So here is a focus, Despair's Lament. I guess it's a sort of instrument. Maybe it has a cool sound effect on it, or an unsheath, maybe. There's no unsheath, it doesn't look like. So that one's pretty lame. There's Envy's Bite. This is a sword. And this looks really good. You know, if we were still in Guild Wars 1, where shiny shit barely existed, you know, they pushed that, as I've explained many times before, even Nightfall started pushing at shiny stuff, like with the Elemental Sword, and then Eye of the North went crazy with it. But, you know, this would look really, really good. I mean, there are people out there that still do respectable non-shiny fashion and stuff, and maybe they'd really like this. The thing for me though is this is kind of a lot like EOD skins, or it's a lot like, do you remember in Heart of Thorns there's that sword and shield combo, Ebb and Flow? I feel like I just use those. Anyway, then there's this, the Avarice is Command. It's a Warhorn. We don't get to hit, there's no play effect or shoot projectile in the preview, so we don't get to see. I don't know, that's pretty meh. Malice is Heartstring. This one's a short bow. Looks pretty interesting. A friend of mine pointed out, and you're not going to be able to see this very easily on this video, but if you zoom in real careful, you can actually see they're all hands. It would be really good if they should let you zoom. I was playing another game last night, and they let you zoom and pan the camera around and everything in the preview menus there. But yeah, there's all hands on that, so it looks kind of cool. Maybe, again, if there's an interesting projectile on it. There's this, the Rage's Fist. Now, this one at least is a little bit shiny, I guess, but you know. We got so many. The dripping effect maybe is something. I mean, I'm literally sitting here with the Primordus hammer right now. And then there's Regret's Memory, this staff with a mirror on it. I don't know. None of these really appeal to me. But you will notice, actually that's super shiny up there, that's quite cool. You'll notice I skipped one. These are all for Sin Eater. The Gluttony's Platter. Now look at this shield. Oh my god, how cool is that? You know, they have this like floppy effect. I have a friend, I barely speak to anymore, and I really kind of miss him, to be honest. Who when I remember one of his earliest setups, he had the floppy scimitar sword. And it's like a Halloween skin, and it like flops around. It's like the Silly Scimitar, I think it's called. And it's the same kind of thing here, but look at how good that looks. It's like a messed up demon hog stuck to a shield. It's the same kind of like demon goo, like covering the shield. It actually looks a bit like a POF skin or something underneath, doesn't it? But how good is that? And that would just look so perfect. See, I got a character on my account who I love to show off any excuse. I barely ever log in on him except to show him off. I got this guy. He's called the Flesh Abomination. He's a guardian, so that I can specifically use Scepter and Mace together. And to this day, that's still the only class that can do that, which is pretty cool. That will change in a few months because of Rev is getting Scepter, isn't it? Is that right? Rev's getting Scepter? I can't remember. I think it is. Anyway, check it out. So this guy is like all flesh and goo and just grossness. And he's a guardian, so if he had a shield to complement... Right now he uses the Beast Slayer thing. But I could use the floppy thing. You know, I got like the Full Metal Alchemist Scepter there. Oh, it'd be so good for this setup. I still don't know what I would ever do with this guy, because I kind of have enough guardians, but whatever, you know. Like, he's a cool setup. There's also a helmet, okay, so beyond these rewards, there's also, and this is assumed to be a strike reward, there is a helmet called the Visage. Now, there's no way to get, oh, wait, no, sorry. This is available from the second meta, the meta we'll be doing, either in this episode or in a couple, all right? This is called the Visage of Norris. You're not going to be able to see it on him. Let's put it on this. And essentially, you know, I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 a lot lately. It makes me think of Mind Flayer. It gives you, like, this tentacly mouth, this fleshy head, this demon head. And it's really quite cool. It makes me think a little bit of what they did in Diessa, not Diessa, oh my god, Grothmar, with the Visage of the Carner, right? Even that was called the Visage, right? It was a rare reward. I think that in that case it was from the jumping puzzle. But headpieces from metas, I think, are a good thing that they've settled into. Oh, look at this. Look at the dyes as well. This has just worked out quite well here on this. Look at that helmet. And it's got all the eyes all over it. Now, you might be wondering, who is Norris? What is Norris? Well, the second meta will reveal this to you, so don't you guys worry. But look at that. And that would fit the Flesh Abomination really well as well. It gives me authority. See, this lets me... I got a parasite in my head, and I can manipulate other people with it. Yes, and there's a fleshy sky scale as well. Kerry has that. But you got to do a bunch of achievements for that. That takes ages. And, you know, I had to be a complete arsehole to her, and I was like, I can't do the achievements with you. I'm going to do them on stream, because they're once ever. So she went off and did those. I have no idea what that stuff's going to be like. But yeah, so there's fun stuff. Okay, that's not it, though, all right? Even better. Now, I don't know if I can preview this as a novelty. There's a new combat tonic. Now, you'll notice at the vendor, we can't see combat tonics here. They're going to expand this. But there is already a combat tonic in-game. Novelties. By the way, I got to... do you know, I really just want to do a bunch of little videos. Just been like, look, this is what's wrong with this system, or this could be better, this could be better. Here, I would love them to split tonics and combat tonics at this point. Is it down here, though? Look at all these ones I don't have. I got so many still to get from End of Dragons. This is still that really rare one from Jahai. I can't imagine when the last time this dropped was. Like, who's even in that map anymore? And it's still so rare. This guy's is like a random meta in Jahai, and it's like ultra rare reward. We used to spam them on, you know, daily on episodes. Scarlet Briar, though, I could get her if I started doing Icebreed Saga. The Minister Lee. The Ascalon Mages, I don't actually remember where to get that. Anka, also End of Dragons. So there's a Dagda one, apparently. There's an Endless Koi. Christ knows where that's from. Fishing somewhere, I guess. And check this out. Oh, come on. Here we go. Okay, he's T-posing. I'm not going to say the name of this, but this creature is the thing we saw at the start of Secrets of the Obscure. Remember? And these T-posed, like, arms, the extra arms in the back, they actually, you know, they should be stabbing the ground. They bend forwards. How fucking... Guys, this is a combat tonic. It's a combat tonic. It's like... Wait, is it a combat tonic? Yes, it's a combat tonic. So you can fight as this guy. They're going to do all the full suite of animations for this guy. That kind of makes me think in the next map we might see a lot of these, because surely they'd repurpose it if they're doing the full suite. That is very cool. I would love to get... Assuming the arms look good. By the way, it's probably worth noting at this point that there was a discussion, right, as Secrets of the Obscure came out, about Menzies and whether that thing at the end, that black silhouette, was Menzies because of the way it was posed and it clearly looked like it didn't have a head. And there was a thing which was like, and I mentioned in the video, you know, I think even Mike said this to me, that it looks like the head could just be leaning forwards. And because you're looking at the back, he might not be headless at all. And actually, this guy's T-posing right now, but if you put him into his correct stance, I mean, this is what we saw in the trailer. And I guess its head was linked because you could see the horns and everything. Which is still crazy to me, because I stand by what I said in that video, which is that they posed that specifically to make us think of Menzies. Surely they did. Surely! And if not, how is it possible that everyone who, like, signed off and looked at that trailer and the pose of that model and everything, no one in that whole chain thought, hold on, aren't they all going to say it's Menzies? Or maybe they did and they just didn't give a shit. Because, I mean, why would you? It's just extra conversation and speculation. But yeah, I think we were tricked in that trailer, because this is basically what we saw in the trailer, I'm sure it was. Just leaning forwards. Anyway, really cool combat tonic. Not available yet, as far as I know. But isn't there a thing in End of Dragons where you could get, like, the Infinite Ever Blossom and stuff like that in normal mode? It was just really rare. Is that a thing? No, maybe not. There's actually another thing as well. There's another infusion, the Cog infusion, with all the, you know, from the Lion's Arch update. And that's really cool as well, and I don't have that yet either, so I really should start getting into my End of Dragons, my Icebreed Saga strikes. They're so easy. Oh, speaking of which, someone's literally wearing it. Holy shit. Is that a coincidence, or is that one of you guys? Even still, with delay? There you go, this infusion. Look how fucking cool that is. So, and they got the bunny ears and stuff as well. Yeah, and I want that, maybe not necessarily for Scrapper, but something techie. Okay, so, right, let's get on in now. There's a comment on YouTube of someone saying, hey, WP, I'm really disappointed in you. You really ruined my evening. You ruined my week. You ruined my month. Actually, you know, the expansion was fun until you did this, and now it's all gone to pot. And it's your fault, and I hate you. Okay, it wasn't quite that sincere, but someone said they were disappointed I didn't speak to the Dracologists here. And actually, I got a message about that on Discord as well. So I think there's a bit of lore, and it's Elder Dragon's lore, and the YouTube comment was like, oh, we could have had an hour-long rant, I got popcorn ready and everything. So I'm curious. I remember seeing some drakes, I think. But, so we're going to wander around now, again, in the Wizard's Tower, until we find the lore. I think it's probably up a balcony. If anyone knows where the Dracologists are in the live chat right now, you want to help me out, you want to be my eye in the sky, let me know. Oh, also, we can check if that adventure is up. It is up. Let's do the other adventure as well. And since I know where that is, I'm going to... and because it might be on a timer, I'm going to prioritize that. So this one's shooting balloons out of the sky. I'm still no better at this. My keybind is still middle mouse button, which is not ideal. But we'll see what we can do. God, every time I look at these clouds, I just feel like a twat because of my rant in, like, episode 1. Because they look so good, and they're so obvious and so prominent. It's like, what are you talking about? Alright, here we go. So, 25 balloons.
Ready? Go!
It's not that orb. Oh, God. I wish I was Boots. He's so good at this. Oh, we got to collect the orbs to keep our endurance, though. Do the checkpoints give us juice? Oh, shit. I hope I'm not missing any. Oh, why are there blue things everywhere? Okay, that's alright. Alright, we got to get into this, because I'm not going to be able to... Oh, why do I feel like... Yeah, I have missed one. Oh. Okay. I'm guessing it's one target per... Okay, they do refresh our juice. One target per checkpoint. I mean, there's 25 checkpoints to go through. It'd be super trolly if they just hid one, like, way off on the side somewhere. Can we go down? Much more relaxing to go down. Oh, there are two there. Oh my god, is that one over there? Is that actually live? It is, I missed. Oh, there's drop-off on the fireballs. Guild Wars has like a lot of cool mechanics in like its combat and skills and stuff like that. Like I always like when you use action cam and like suddenly it can feel a little bit like a bit of a weird shooter, you know? It's like, what the fuck? This game's a lot closer to being other genres if it wanted to be. You know, this engine, this setup. Oh, this is cool. We're really far away from the tower. How many have I done? Only 15! Mind you, we still got 90 seconds left. What the hell? I just complimented that it could be a shooter, and then we had that. Let's get this. They seriously did pick the best music for these. Okay. It's quite a satisfying sound effect as well, actually. This one's not as rapid fire as the other one. I'm gonna trust in the drop-off on that. Yeah, it did work. Oh shit, what? I thought I was in it. How did I miss that? Okay. Okay, wait. We don't want to collect that. Targets destroyed 25 out of 30. So I missed some targets. I actually missed a bunch of targets. Oh, but 25 is gold. So there's 5 hidden extra targets. Boots is number 8 lifetime. He got all 30, 4 seconds quicker than we got 25. Okay, now Noct, I'm assuming, might be showing us where the Dracologists are. I'm not sure. It's weird to you that the Bastion of the Natural in Amnitas has Crichton music, really? There's a mix of all kinds of music in here, really, aren't there? Okay, well, that was pretty good. You know, despite the heat, I got myself a big, hot, steaming hot mug of coffee for this stream. It's probably a bad idea now that I'm holding it in my hand and it's really warm. Okay, cool. So, how are we doing for achievement progress in the tower now? We got to do more of those weird moat things with the pointing anomalies. Comrades in Arms, Hide and Seek Master. That's that guy, the Djinn. Wasn't it a hiding Djinn? Oh no, there. Oh wait, hold on. Find the Djinn within 60 seconds. Gives us 5 AP and a mastery point. And find him 20 times overall. And then the race as well. We didn't do the race. That's all doable still right now. Did I find the book in Isgaren's bedroom? I did, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if this brings me ease.
Okay, that's the Massar book. Any Dracologists around here? Also, where was the Djinn that wants to play hide and seek? I keep thinking it's that guy, but it's not that guy. He's the guy just summoning the ritual that feels patronised when being told how to suck eggs from his grandma. There's a trick to the Djinn. He has a spot right next to the spot, and you can talk to him to start it. Oh, really? So, in Arbastone, there was a thing where if you couldn't find the fledgling, you could just character select and go back. This is the guy, isn't it? So I'm going to ping him. That's the other trick. I accept your challenge. He says he's always going to be higher than where he started. And we have him targeted. Oh, but how high, though? Is it across the whole map? So I suppose if he's got a thing where he stands right there where he starts, you could just cheese all 20 if you're happy to character select that many times. You know, assuming he's got, what, like 10 destinations? That's going to be, on average, 10 character selects every time, 20 times in a row. You're going to go to character select 200 times to get it, as long as you're perfectly lucky, you know? Or normal, if your luck is normal. If you're unlucky, it could be even more than that. I don't know, man. I mean, what? He could be anywhere. Oh, here you go. His possible locations are basically in a short arc near where he starts. Basically the outer ring area only. Oh, that's very useful to know. Okay. So like this is what I'd call the outer ring, right? I'm not being a dumbass. Would it be possible to have a private squad and put one marker on the gin? Yes, you could do that. Oh, okay, hold on. I thought your advice was very different. Oh, you're talking about the Doom trick. That is a good idea. Let's try that, shall we? Let's try that. Okay, so I'm going to come here. I'm going to character select. This is very cheesy. In Doom, in the labyrinth, like the statues event, you can put an eye on the teleporting, you know, eyes of Zaitan that are in there. Oh, am I standing in the wrong spot, or does that not work anymore? They might have fixed it. Oh no, there he is. So basically what I do is I put an arrow on him, and so there's an arrow. Well, let's do something more obvious. The heart, okay? So when I do this, in theory, I just open the map now and look for where the heart is, because he should still be marked. I don't see a heart. I think they cleanse it. That's a good technique. What I thought you were saying, though, that's a good idea. What I thought you were saying is you get 10 players in a private squad standing on all his known exits. And then, you know, the person, whoever ends up with him next to him, that you just call it and say, he's on me, and then everyone just goes there, and then you all reset your positions. Or as it's character based, so actually you'd all run into the gin and you'd all know to go. You assign everyone a spot and then they all just run back. That's a good idea. Oh yeah, and it's character based anyway, so maybe that wouldn't work. They probably have several copies, they just enable and disable. Yeah, that's probably how it works, yeah. Alright, I like this notification here, by the way. The fly-by-night thing, these birds coming up, these are so cool. So we have flying books and flying birds here. Years ago, I did, you know, one of my favourite places in all of Guild Wars is at the Burnisher Quarry in Heart of Thorns. This place, right, this is just, oh, it looks so fucking good. And there's a specific place you can stand, and I had reshade on with a little, and this is going to sound crap, but it looked really good, with a little bit of lens flare on it, right? And from this vantage, you can see the sun rise and set, and the moon rise and set. And I sat there and recorded for like 2 hours, and just let it play. And then what I did was I cut out, you know, the huge chunk that is daytime and the huge chunk that is nighttime, and looped it. So what you would see is very slowly the moon would rise and then go down, and then the sun would rise and go down, and the whole video in the end was about 20 minutes long. You know, it was like 5 minutes before dusk, which is 5 minutes, 5 minutes after dusk, and then again for dawn, right? So it's 15 plus 15, half an hour long video, I guess it was. And I had that as like an active desktop for years, and I actually still host it. You know, everything I ever put up for Patreon and stuff like that, I have all those links, they're all still there, and it is still up, I'm 99% sure, on my Google Drive. And one of the cool things about the visuals on that was you would get these birds, like that burst of birds that just came out there. There'd be like 3 or 4 of them around the Burnisher Quarry, some like way off on the horizon, some much closer. And it was so good looking. And every time I see those birds, that's what I think of, that old active desktop. I don't know, I've just ranted so long, I'm sure the Jinn is back now. Let's go have a look. Oh no, he's not. I don't know, the Outer Ring. What's his name? Oh, is that him up there? I think that's someone up there. Someone's above me right now. I need to land. He's there. Look. Hello. Don't leave. Yay. You're not as green as you look. Well done. I'll be back to where we started if you want to play again. You've plenty of room to grow. Thank you. I need to grow in my hide-and-seek abilities. Nice. Alright, let's try that again. I'm going to ping him anyway. If they get rid of the raid marker, surely they get rid of these other ones. So, hold on. When he appears near you, is it because he's on top of this tower? So, hold on. I think what we do, seeing that he was on that... Oh, I have to land, though. You need a full thing for this, I think. We just get on top of one of these arches and just fly along all the arches, maybe. Is there a chance he's way up on one of these? Dun 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 dun. This is so good. I love this track. Let's bump that up even more. I mean, we would actually see his model before the UI for his model loads in, which would be quite nice. Like before his nameplate appears. Speaking of nameplates, this is a hell of a segue. Yeah, I was playing another game yesterday. For the first time in months, I logged back. I actually re-upped my sub about 4 months ago, I think. But I went back to Final Fantasy. We just lost achievement credit. I see it just ticked off. FF14, I was actually playing it. I am looking to do a series on it. Well, I don't see him on any of these. I did some like roulettes and things, and my god, it's so weird. I forgot so much about the game. It feels like it wasn't that long ago I was playing it, but I got like all this crazy nostalgia watching the trailer for Endwalker and stuff, because it has all the like songs from the different eras of the game on there, and I was like, oh my god. I did some roulettes, like one of them was like a Shadowbringers dungeon, and it had the cool Shadowbringers music and stuff on it, and I was so nostalgic playing it. It's crazy. I forgot so much of like everything, but then in just a matter of minutes, like, I was remembering, like, I was like, oh no, I still remember what this skill does, and I remember this, and oh yeah, my nameplates were set up to be a certain color of red if I didn't have aggro, and then they'd toggle into a different color when I did, and like, I had all this weird shit, but once I started playing, it all started coming back to me so quickly. It was really quite cool, honestly, a very weird experience. But yeah, you know, I had a bit of fun. I did some roulettes, and then I had a moment where I thought, well, I don't know what to do now, and I logged out. But, you know, I'm sort of refamiliarizing myself with it for the next project I want to do with it. So we failed on that. He's gone. His name is Alia. Oh. Oh, no, we didn't fail. He was just here. Wait. Where does he usually spawn? Over there, right? Oh, that was probably the good 60 seconds one. Okay, now that we know 2 spots, his ping was removed there, by the way. There, look. Oh, easy! Oh, easy! There you go. So we get 5 AP and a mastery point. Nice. That was very good, guys. That was pretty much all tips from you lot that got me that. Me playing Endwalker will be interesting. You think I'll love and hate parts of it? Well, the thing is, what I really don't want to just play Endwalker while I'm completely out of touch with the game. So that's why I want to refamiliarize myself with it and remember like certain bits of the story and stuff as well. I've just completely forgotten about. Like that kid Asahi, that Stormblood kid. He's like super evil. I remember vaguely. I remember like his vibe, but not much about him properly. Like there's a lot of stuff I'm like, I probably want to recap somehow. So, sounds like I'm asking for a quiz. I mean, you can try to, if you want to realize the depths of my ignorance about the game, you are welcome to quiz me right here, right now, while I look for these Dracologists. Speaking of which, is there a chance that Noct has been patiently standing there trying to help me with that this whole time? Let's go have a look, shall we? It looks like he might be, because he's standing roughly where I think it could be. So here we're stuck now. It's either going to be a huge amount of quizzing and ranting about FF or the Elder Dragons. No, he's in his Garen's bedroom. Oh no, he's not. He's directly below the bedroom.
Dance and sing and eat if they'd like. We live another day.
When I think of mourning, I think of quiet. How can they carry on like that?
You're immortal, darling. Leave the others be. Breathe a little.
Summarize the difference between Astral and Umbral. I know you're trying to meme there, right? But it's one of them is like active and the other one is like passive. Astral is active, Umbral is passive, I think. and because you know the moon or the stars or whatever, day versus night, and then and I always used to get confused with that because astral astrology makes me think of night, but they're talking more about the stars. And then also there are like eras, so there are like astral eras and umbral eras, and like I think the umbral eras are like ones of peace where not much is going on, and then the astral ones were like when calamities and shit would happen. I think that was pretty good. What's the world called? Oh shit, I don't know. There were a lot of words for that, weren't there? There was a really tricky word for like the continent. And then there was a different word for the world. I can't remember that. I can't even remember that. Dracologist is 2 stories below the quarters. So poor Nocta has been very patiently standing here. I just saw his thing disappear, but here we go. Okay, apparently this is big for the Elder Dragons. Did we not read this logbook then? I mean, we got the PO... there is no POI here. So let's read this. Records of the deaths of the Elder Dragons. Okay, so I have to say, guys, I think I've read this off camera. But I don't remember doing it on camera. Also, when I read it off camera, I don't remember it totally blowing my mind. But let's see. Okay, so a note to the reader. This is a living record of the Elder Dragons, their deaths, and how their fall has impacted the Tyrian ecosystem. Hold on. Doesn't this appear in the South meta? Wasn't this one of the books we were rushing to get to at the end of the South meta? Maybe that's what I remember doing, and I haven't actually read this before. Okay, note to the reader. This is a living record of the Elder Dragons, their deaths, and how their fall has impacted the Tyrian ecosystem. Per standards and regulations, this is only intended to observe the effects of their falling while remaining factual about the cause. Okay. Why do they have a lot of regulations about that? Just because non-interference? Signed, A. Gray the Third, lead Dracologist. Now, are you here? There's Dracologist Daisy, Dracologist Nico, an ogre, which is really interesting. I don't know who this A guy is. Noct seems really interested keen on me speaking to the NPCs. I will. Wow, Cograth, 200 SEK. Thank you, man. That's very good. Thank you very much. Alright, let's do the logbook first. One thing at a time. Okay, forward. The overall effects of the dragons and their deaths has been as unexpected and perplexing as it is concerning. Until recently, we had suspected that the dragons were plagued by some sort of corruption, such as the Dragon Void, but it wasn't apparent until the death of Kralkatorrik and the eventual death of the Elder Mother, Su-1, and is... Sorry, this full stop has confused me here. Until recently, we had suspected that the dragons were plagued by some sort of corruption, such as the Dragon Void, but it wasn't apparent until the death of Kralkatorrik and the eventual death of the Elder Mother. Su-1 and Isgarin remained respectively distant from one another, as Su-1 sought to protect Tyria proper, while Isgarin looked to the sky and the mists beyond. Yeah, I think what I recall actually is people were talking about this in the Discord, and I hadn't actually found it. This is interesting, though, that they remained respectfully distant from one another. Because it suggests they, like, chatted with one another, actually, like, had a kind of formal alliance or agreement with one another in some way. That Isgarin was privy to all of this. And I'm just starting to wonder, what if it had been written that Isgarin wasn't privy to all the particulars of the Dragon Cycle? I suppose you can't write him as ignorant about the particulars of the Elder Dragon Cycle, because then you would have a character fiercely defending a world plagued by entities he doesn't even understand. Surely he'd be more curious about them and involved in that fight. But if you write him as a guy who already knows all there is to know about the Elder Dragon stuff... But I don't know, it's really tricky for me, because on the one hand I see everything the ArenaNet's saying about Isgarin and stuff. On the other hand, it's like, look, this guy's he's watched his people get wiped out by a previous Elder Dragon Rising and then a war afterwards. And what does he do? He ignores the Elder Dragon problem and allies with a Massart. You know, like, it's so... It's interesting that he would just turn his back from it. you know, there was this idea that Isgarin is like this big distant guy that sees the bigger picture. He wouldn't save the farm, you know, he sees further, there are bigger problems. His role is the veil and the protection of penetrators from outside in the mist and all that. That's a great story, and I like it a lot. And in a lot of ways, Su-1 was that story as well. Su-1 was... Look, had it been done slightly differently, I think End of Dragons would have been so great for me. It probably would have been my favourite story they'd ever told. This idea of Su-1 as a character who has just seen the her children are ravaging and destroying the planet every cycle, right? However many thousands of years that is, she's been complicit in watching them do that. She's literally just sat by and let it happen over and over and over again, and she's tried to do things here or there, but you know, like, it took... The story of End of Dragons really starts with Kunavang seeking out Su-1 and saying, please, can you fucking save these people from this tidal wave? Please do something. Because Su-1 is just like this, like, broken, like, just mess that's just ignoring everything at this point. And, you know, there's that great debate, that debate that appears somewhat in the trailers, you know, and whether she should disconnect, whether she should care about mortals. Do you care about mortals? They flicker like little flames, bright, then they go out, whatever, all that stuff. That's really cool. And again, you've got this story of Su-1 as like this, almost like, she's so long-lived, she's become uncaring to the small issues. And even the idea of the specifics of a single cycle is a small issue to her. But no, she's convinced otherwise by Kunavang, and then the story goes as it goes. That's all really good, and I think if End of Dragons had emphasized all of that stuff and really dug into all of that stuff a lot more, I could have really bought how it all went. In the end, they asked me to be very, very, very sympathetic to Su-1, and unjustifiably so, I think. I think Su-1, realistic, when you look at the facts of the story and what she's done and how many lives are on her conscience, she's an evil, unforgivable character. But I think ArenaNet wrote it that we would all be extremely soft on her very, very quick for extremely superficial reasons, you know. And that's where the whole, like, oh, it's because she's a mother and that's all that matters, all that kind of, like, tacky shit comes in, which we discussed with End of Dragons. Anyway, to come back to this, I think that Isgarin is, like, kind of similar. And it's really interesting to think of the two of them talking. I kind of love that scene. I'd love Isgarin to be like, yo, what's going on with these cycles? And she's like, yeah, you know, the magic will leak out and people will be happy for thousands of years or hundreds of years. You know, it's cool. And Isgarin's like, all right, okay. Like, it's weird. This is so big of a scene, what's being implied here. And I know that all they actually say is they keep a respectful distance, but to keep a respectful distance suggests a lot of understanding between the two. I don't know. Let's just keep reading. I'm not sure what my head's doing here, whether I'm loving this or thinking it's plot holy. Su-1 and Isgarin remained respectfully distant from one another as Su-1 sought to protect Tyria proper, while Isgarin looked to the sky and the mists beyond. The most okay, here's what I think is annoying me here. How the fuck was Su-1 protecting Tyria? Someone in the live chat, tell me how Su-1 was protecting Tyria proper. That's not her story, is it? For the vast majority of all this time, until the most recent Zaitan uprising and the tidal wave, Su-1 was not protecting Tyria. It was only very, very, very recently she consented to go into the reactor and all that. That's like the blink of an eye for these characters at the timescales they live in. So what, now you're going to tell me for the thousands of years, hundreds of years at least, that the Astral Ward's been here, she was protecting Tyria while Isgarin was protecting her from the... Sounds like Isgarin was doing some work. She was just letting her babies ravage everyone. You guys think it's from the void? Okay, yeah, maybe that's the answer. She was saying, okay, we'll do the Elder Dragon cycle, but it's better than the void. So that's what she was doing. It still doesn't sound like she was doing anything, though. There was nothing active in her role, was it? The reality was birthed, she tended to her children, they went psycho, she couldn't control them, and so she just sort of sat around and watched it go on for multiple cycles. That's what she was doing, air quotes. What's she doing there? Just allowing the system to go on? Aren't the orbs her? Oh, like the blue orb. That's an interesting thought. If we hear that she, like, donated blue orbs and shit like that to the astral wards so that they would be free from dragon corruption, that would be really cool, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be super cool if there was a blue orb up here and like a green orb and like a red orb and stuff, and it's like, oh, this one protected them from Primordus, this one shielded them from Morgemoth, that's why the Sylvari didn't go crazy, this one, that would be so cool. I would love that. That's why when none of the Elder Dragons woke up throughout the story of Guild Wars 2 so far, they immediately bum rushed Amnitas. Because you remember in Heart of Thorns, there was this whole thing about how they'd probably go for Ratasum. In Season 2, they went for, like, the Priory and the Order of Whispers, and so, well, in the personal story, they did that, because they had a lot of artifacts. Imagine these places. They had to have been shielded from the Elder Dragons in some ways. In fact, maybe this book says that, so let's keep reading. It wasn't apparent until the death of Calcatoric and the eventual death of... Wait, let me reread it all as well, because aren't we doing something different here about how the Void wasn't even a problem? Hold on. The overall effects of the dragons and their deaths has been as unexpected and perplexing as it is concerning. Okay, teach me. What's concerning? Until recently, we had suspected the dragons were plagued by some sort of corruption, such as Dragon Void. But it wasn't apparent until the death of Calcatoric and the eventual death of the Elder Mother. And that's true. Because, you know, we saw Calcatoric's torment in there, the split personality. And there were suggestions earlier, you know, people going crazy because of the Bloodstone explosion, a suffusion of magic drove people nuts. But whether that craziness at Bloodstone Fen actually turns out to have been Dragon Void, or just Void, hasn't really been explained. Oh, I really don't like this area of the lore anymore, guys. I really don't like getting into the ticky-tacky of how the fucking magic and stuff works. Anyway, but it wasn't apparent. Suwon and Isgaran remained respectively distant from one another, as Suwon sought to protect Tyria proper... Okay, let's say that's true. While Isgaran looked to the sky and the mist beyond. The most notable change in the ecosystem was the swelling of the ley lines in the Maguma jungle. This may have been due to the temporal imbalance caused by Zaitan's fall, and yeah, that's what Season 2 was talking about. But these surges were instrumental in the rise of the Jungle Dragon, also listed as the Beast of the Coppice in certain archives. Yeah, I have read this, by the way, off screen. I have read this. Beast of the Coppice is a really fun extra detail. I don't know whether that leads anywhere or anything, but I like when we just suddenly get a bit of extra information. Beast of the Coppice, that's very weird. What are the certain archives? Is that a name for it? You know, it's funny they talk about this as well, because there was so much in the community about why do we know Morgemoth's name, you know, and they did that amazing thing when they patched up one of the Season 2 instances to sort of bridge over that, which was really good. But here it's like, okay, where did Morgemoth... I guess that was a dwarven name. Because most of the dragon names we had were names that the dwarves had given them. But maybe other people, maybe the seers called it the Beast of the Coppice, who knows. The brewing ecological disaster was made all the worse when Scarlet Briar redirected some of these already unstable ley lines straight into Morgemoth's refuge. Some of these lines crossed the boundaries of the Horn, even. Hey, that's where we are, the Horn of the Maguma. I like this detail. Where Amnitas has been settled since Mother's fall. What's Mother's fall? The Mother Dragon, Suwon, her fall? What was her fall? Are we talking about her fall into passivity? Are we talking about her consenting to go to the reactor? Has Amnitas been there since she went in? Oh, you just mean Suwon's death. Oh, okay, yeah, alright. It's because we're talking about earlier in time right now, so I didn't even consider it meant right now. Okay, so hold on. So after End of Dragons, that's where Amnitas came to the Horn. It could have been anywhere before then, though. It's nice to hear them very explicitly say it's been moving around, because I've had a lot of suggestions it has been, but I hadn't really known exactly. But now, yeah, very clearly, it's been moving. These lines have behaved as expected, although some fluctuations were noted in the spire before its fracturing. Okay, so there we're talking about the World Spire, the device that Isgaran built to project the veil to protect us from the mist. At the end of the Elder Dragon cycle, it broke. We know that, and it splurged all these fractals into the real world, and the veil came down. So just before that happened, the ley lines here were normal, but they fluctuated right before the spire broke. triggering a blast of magical energies immediately following Suwon's death. Stability was gained again once Aurene, the prismatic dragon, took over as the filter moments later. The result of the spire's fracturing was... Okay, alright, so what ArenaNet are saying to me here is that there's a brief moment after Suwon dies and before Aurene stabilizes everything. So we're talking about a very brief window right as End of Dragons is ending. In that brief moment, things were really fucked up and it broke the spire. Things restabilized, but the spire was broken. I like that story. Like, there's a little blip for a moment. And some things after that have been permanently changed, like the relics as well. These lines have behaved as expected, though some fluctuations were noted in the spire before its fracturing, triggered by the blast of magical energies immediately following Suwon's death. Stability was gained once Aurene, the prismatic dragon, took over as the filter moments later. The result of the spire's fracturing was catastrophic, however, allowing Cryptis and other sentients from farther realms to intrude. Perhaps this is why the Giala Delve mission... storyline is what it is, and maybe the Silencer Fractal. It's kind of bizarre that a new Fractal's been in the game for so long and I still haven't played it. The research is ongoing. Escalations would continue with Morgemoth's death, then Kralkatorix. Research is still being done on the overall effects of Primordus and Jormag's more recent blight. But strange activities were noted all along the greater Shiver Peaks. Why have we got ... recent blight here? Pockets of thicker magic. Like what's that ... about? It's not particularly more recent than any of the others. It wasn't particularly different than the others, was it? I know we're referring to the events of Dragonstorm, but it's just weirdly, I don't know. It's like they're suggesting there's something separate or altogether different about those two dragons. And I know it was dragon v dragon. Maybe that's all they're driving at? Because they're all at differences, obviously, but the dragons themselves are different. Anyway. Strange activities were noted all along the greater Shiver Peaks. Pockets of thicker magic have begun swelling in most regions, causing more magically attuned births and other ecological effects. Some witnesses have reported enhanced agricultural effects, lands impacted by Zaitan being a pleasant surprise. I like this. This is a suggestion of regrowth in ore. While others, especially in areas impacted by Kralkatorix and Jormag, have reported a steep decline in feasible land use. Wow, the Jormag areas as well have reported a steep decline. So the brand, I kind of get it. ArenaNet wants to say, I guess. I really like this. This is good world building to me. Okay, because there's kind of a thing when it comes to like fantasy media, and MMOs are no exception to this, where you write and Guild Wars has actually embodied this a lot in the past. I've talked about this a few times. You create a setting right at the start before your product's even out, your book, your film, your whatever, your game. You create a setting that's really robust and has got a lot of intrigue. So for Guild Wars 1, you know, it's the war between the Char and the humans. You know, you've got all these different pieces. But then as the story progresses, you kind of resolve things. So at the start, Guild Wars has all it, you know, Tyria launch is full of stuff. But as you continue telling the story, all those doors start closing as things get resolved. And what you actually do is you make the setting more and more bland as it goes along. And that's actually a very tricky balance to resolve things, feel like you're bringing happy endings and you're giving people satisfaction, catharsis, but continuing to have a deep setting that doesn't feel like it's narrowing and narrowing and narrowing, you know? And Guild Wars has done that successfully in some ways and unsuccessfully in others. One thing I actually think is a bit of a success is the fact that the faux fire issue is still going on. The Ghost of Ascalon is still here. So anyway, with that in mind, you know, you're ArenaNet, you're thinking about the story right now. It might be really fun to bring life back to all. That's catharsis. That's the fun thing, right? That's really cool, and I've always been an advocate for that. But do we want to reverse the damage from all the dragons? Do we want to say the brand goes away? Do we want to say everything's back now? Well, then you destroy the setting, right? Because it becomes too bland. So what you can actually see them doing here, I think, is really cool. And they're saying, all right, look, we're going to say, fine, or maybe comes back, maybe it all regrows. Maybe that's really fun and we like that. But you know what? The brand is a fucked up, dangerous, stormed, black and tarred shithole. And it adds a lot of texture to Ascalon. And we're going to keep it that way. That doesn't just go away. The brand is serious. And even though the dragon threat is over, the brand is not improving. And that's cool. I really like that. I love the way that that's been written. And then here as well, when they mention Jormag, it makes me think of like the Aberrant Forest. This place is cool. You know, the closest thing, I mean, Ascon also has the Bria place, wherever the fuck it is. Up here, I think. You know, the Hellion Forest. Haunted Forest, spooky forests are cool. Guild Wars doesn't do it much. It did it here. I like the idea that this is just fucked for good now. You know, the Whispers and the Aberrant, you know, those factions. That would be kind of cool. I suppose they might be talking about other stuff. The Whispering Depths or something. That's a cool detail, though. Lands impacted by Zaitan being a pleasant surprise. Others, especially in areas impacted by Kraukatoric and Jormag, have reported a steep decline in feasible land use. A decline from when we last saw them. The brand is worse. Or maybe that's not what that means exactly. Anyway, all research is now pivoting to the rise of Aurene and her living champions... Plural? What, Kaith? The prismatic dragon is now sleeping, and despite rising tensions with threats from the mists, the overall ecosystem seems to be calming once again. And you know, that's the more meta idea that's going on with the plot now, isn't it? Tyria is a bit more settled, but outside Tyria is the threat. Yeah, I don't know. There's not too much to dig into there, really. In terms of lore bombs, as far as I can see, isn't this essentially just rehashing what we know? I guess the concerning thing is the brand stuff. The Jormag stuff. I don't know if I buy this thing of like Suwon and Isgarin were working together to protect Tyria. I don't know whether I buy it. I don't buy Suwon as a savior. I'm probably like really just like fucked up and riled about that and like biased against it. Because it probably overly aggravates me. But maybe you know, maybe we can say that things generally things are okay on Tyria, you know, except when the dragons rise and eat you all. But aside from that, they're okay. There's just something really ugly about like predicating the whole game on dealing with this threat, and then after it's over saying, oh, but you know, it was all right, really. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading that into it when I shouldn't be. Probably. Now, what do these guys say? Because you guys seemed keen on me to speak to these guys. Commander? Hello. If you'd like to discuss the effects of the dragon cycle on Tyria, I'm that person. Okay. Oh, I'd love to hear what you think. You could just walk away. Absolutely. While we generally avoided interfering with the flow of nature, the Ward used many resources to study the dragons. Which would you like to hear about? Oh, there's a lot of dialogue and I'm doing this stupid voice. I actually am physically pressing my Adam's apple up to get that pitch. I just want you guys to know. How much do you know about Suwon? The Elder Mother. A truly complex creature. Isgarin met... Oh, there we go. Isgarin met her once, and we stayed away from her domain. They respected what the other was. Her domain being the water. I like this description of her as a complex creature. I can buy that. So they met once. Did you know about the Void? We suspected, but it even surprised us. After all, the moment she died, well, look around. I mean, that makes sense. The Cryptis? Magat Samit, that the moment she died, the filter was broken. The spire. Isgarin held things together for as long for Aurene to take over. Oh, that's a nice detail as well. And then the Cryptis came. Okay. So during the blip. So what's the problem? Is the spire fucked? Or is it just the entities from the mist have spotted us and they're interested in us now? Or is it a bit of both? Oh, this is cool. Let's talk about Zaitan. So the order here is weird. I think that it should be either in order that we killed them in Guild Wars 2, or the order that they woke up in the lore. What is this order? Zaitan, then Kraukatoric, then Jormag, then Primordus, then Morgemoth. I guess Morgemoth is last because she's a Sylvari. I'm going to ask her in release order. Okay, so we're going to start with Zaitan. This is Zaitan. The reason we're surprised of the modern era, I can say that much. It's also how we first noticed you. Oh, you didn't notice me back when I was winner of the SNAF prize due to my weather machine? Did I make a weather machine? I did, due to my trans-atmospheric converter. And I've still never met Blip. One day. It's weird that it has the catalyst icon there now instead of the Ellie one. I wouldn't have thought that would update with my elite spec. That's very odd. It's how you first noticed me. Zaitan was the start of all this, huh? I live near the Blood-Tide coast with a dear friend. When Zaitan, I joined the Ward shortly after the attack on Claw Island. It became my chosen dream to follow the dragon, so to say. That's nice. Claw Island's like the big moment, to me, I think. If you really sit down and you look at the personal story, Claw Island is a great beat. In fact, it's actually where I think nowadays, I think Guild Wars 2 should have ended. Deadly serious. And I have a spreadsheet, a huge spreadsheet on my Google Documents of a alternate, it's essentially a fan fiction, okay, that I was going to make a video out of, but got nervous about and just didn't in the end. But it's like an alternate way Guild Wars 2 could have been devved. And it's in that I essentially proposed that the story ends at Claw Island, and then Season 1 is everybody's united the creation of the Pact and the attack on Zaitan, and the final boss of Season 1, the very end of Season 1, is Zaitan's death. Actually, no, I don't think I did it that way. I think that was like the penultimate patch, and then there was a patch that was like leading into Morgemoth and Heart of Thorns, like straight away. You know, and Season 2 is actually post Heart of Thorns, and the timing all gets fucky and different. Anyway, yeah, sure. Okay, well that's some details. Then it's Morgemoth. What do you think about Morgemoth? Morgemoth turned a lot of minds towards the Ward. Many Sylvari like myself. I'd already been recruited, but Isgarin and Leah worked tirelessly to protect us from that dreaded voice. Wow. So they had to actively... How did Leah help? With his splitting power? Yeah, I'm glad you agree in chat that the Ore Invasion would have been a good Season 1. Because it would have given them the time, you know, and it would have improved what we did get out of the personal story as well. Yeah. The Order stuff in the actual release game, everything would have been bulked out a lot more. The Lesser Race arc, which is undoubtedly the lowest quality stuff you can play in Guild Wars as far as personal story is concerned. All of that stuff would have had all the attention. And you wouldn't have had like a weird patch with South Sun, and you wouldn't have had different characters popping up. It would have been the same cast. It would have been the same idea, fight the dragon. Everyone would have been on board with it. Everyone would have been excited to go to Ore. Everyone would have been keen. But, you know, that decision would have had to have been made very early, because a lot of Guild Wars 2's release marketing was selling you the prospect of killing a dragon and selling the prospect of going to Ore. And you can't do that if you're then going to sell it, do it separately in patches afterwards. People would have raged at that. So, it's funny how the new mini X-Pack format is essentially that, but gaming's come a long way now, and whatever, anyway. It's a different thing to talk about. So, Morgemoth was especially horrid. I don't think we fully reflected on those events. The Ward and my people, especially those of us who remained safe within Amnitas and the Wizard's Tower, I felt guilt, sick even. That was a hard time for us all. Yes, it truly was. Even the mists we noticed when Tyrael started to rumble. Really, the mists noticed. Isgarin was anxious that we'd be attacked by Airpark or worse. There are many things just out of our sight. Sorry, is she Cryptis possessed? Why is she struggling so much? I thought she was just nervous, because, you know... The commander is essentially a celebrity at this point, isn't he? So then who do we do next? Then it was Kralkatorrik. It was a big gap, but it was Kralkatorrik. The Crystal Dragon. We all have nightmares about him for... Nightmares. We stood against Kralkatorrik briefly when he stormed through the mists. Oh, this is really good. This is a good detail. If these guys are protectors of the mists, you have to explain what the fuck they were doing whenever all the mist stuff started happening in the other stories. In fact, do you guys know if the whole Desmina Doom situation is discussed at all by the Astral Ward or the Wizard's Court? Because they kind of dropped the ball on that as well. I would love to hear that they all hate Desmina and they're like, fuck, we got rid of one despot and traded for another. You guys think you did a good thing with Desmina, but trust me, you didn't. It's not good. I would love to hear that. Desmina is a lot like Livia to me, in that they're like both these badass female human necromancer archetypes, and they're both like so deeply entrenched in like really cool mysteries. There needs to be like a team up between the two of them at some point. We stood against Kralkatorrik briefly when he stormed through the mists. He tore through Isgaren's maze of fractals. Oh, we lured him out just before Aurene breached the mists, the day the Sky Scales were birthed from their trail of chaos. Let me read that again. I didn't actually retain any of that. But how did you fight against him? So he went through Isgaren's maze of fractals. So hold on, these people, this alternate Zin, the alternate Kralogan out there, you know, the guys in alternate Garenhof, they also saw the Kralkatorrik shit a couple of years ago. I don't like this detail, actually. Because the mists are supposed to be like this infinite, massive fucking thing. The idea that Kralkatorrik threatened them all and visited them all and sampled every little bit, you know. Did he have to end up in Isgaren's fractals? I don't know. It makes them feel a bit small, maybe. I don't know. Am I being silly there? Anyway, we lured him out just before Aurene breached the mists. So that's a cool detail. So he's in Isgaren's fractals. They kick him out, and then boom, we're there with Aurene. It's like a little bit more detail about what was happening right before that instant started, and we were flying on her back. Best instance of the game so far. All right, then it's another big gap, and it's Jorm. Well, I say a big gap in terms of actually to play it. It probably doesn't feel that big, does it? Because you go straight from killing Kralkatorrik to Grothmar, Bjora, Drizzlewood, and then it's Jormag dying. But okay, so Jormag. Jormag. Still fresh on your mind, I imagine. Banger almost routed Isgar into action. Almost. I'm losing it here as well. Banger almost rattled Isgar into action. So what she's saying here is when Banger was like rallying the Char and trying to get his own dragon, he wanted to be, because if you remember the story there is Banger looks at us with Aurene and he's like, fuck me, I'm getting my own dragon, fuck this, I'm gonna make the Char great again and I'm gonna get my own dragon. So Isgaren sees Banger doing this and it's like Isgaren's almost gonna act. You know what, they've written that a lot of times. Oh, Isgaren was gonna help, I swear, but you know, then it didn't matter. Oh, he was gonna help, but you know, it didn't. He was on this one as well, I promise. Seriously, Isgaren, he was just like, he was a moment away from helping, and then he didn't. I know what it looks like. It looks like he's an asshole that's just watching. He's like Jacob from Lost, you know. Everyone tells us he's this great guy, but really all he's doing is bringing these fucked up people to this place. The Wizard's Tower is the island, guys. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, he almost did, but no. Oh, I didn't read that, hold on. Almost. Thankfully, the rampage of Jormag and Primordus could have been much worse. Right. These are all a little bit thinner than I would have wanted. God, I'm so whiny, aren't I? I get all this cool interaction with this NPC, and all I can say is, I didn't get more. Let's talk Primordus, yeah? Oh, here's the reference. Okay, that is a file I wish I had more time to work on. Tragic, I think. Pick a different dragon. Okay, I had heard about this line. I thought it was in a book, to be honest. I'd heard about this line since when the expansion came out. That you could ask about Primordus, and they would say, that's a file I wish I had more time to work on. I mean, if there was ever any meta commentary from the studio, it's this right here, right? Because, you know, as much as we whine and bitch and moan in the community that it wasn't good enough, blah, 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 you gotta remember, there are fans within the studio too, and I bet that they do really fucking regret that they couldn't do more with Primordus, and I bet they did all want to see that amazing depth expansion and the payoff. You know, I'm sure they get it, right? If anyone out there gets it, alright, the people at the studio get it, alright? So this is a really cool line. I believe them. I believe they wish they had more time to work on the Primordus stuff. They even say tragic, and I believe they mean that with the full force of that word. It was tragic, wasn't it, guys? But I didn't know about this last sentence. That's just very dry, very commanding. Simple statement, pick a different dragon. That's funny. I really like how they end that off. That made me laugh. Yeah. So, there you go. That's the meta commentary about Primordus. And I mean, what more is there to say? Right. clearly things didn't go well. Do you know what I was thinking last night as well? You know this new format that we're in now with the mini X-Packs? Let's assume it's going to go great, right? Let's assume patch 3, the patch in a few weeks, the Christmas patch, the spring patch, those 2 patches that finish this story. Let's assume they're all really good, okay? Let's assume legendary armor's awesome. Let's assume the new weapons are awesome. Just believe with me, all right? Don't be a cynic for a second. Let's believe it's going to be good, okay? Genuinely. And then mini X-Pack 2 is good as well, and it's actually improved scope some places. You know, maybe we get the lesser playable races, whatever, right? Assuming all of that, it's interesting for me to think, and this is what I thought last night. When Season 4 ended, and we beat Kralkatorrik, you know, it's pretty well understood, clearly at this point, ArenaNet was looking for another game, some other project was going to come out, whatever, whether it was going to be on mobile, nobody really knows what the story is. But clearly they got caught with their pants down, right? This was shortly after, you know, and to use the word again, tragically, and I mean it seriously, you know, like a third of the studio gets let go. You know, it's a fucking disaster. Whatever happens is a disaster. So they scrambled to figure out what the hell do we do? And I was looking at the colours of these boxes. And you get 3 black, grey ones, 2 green ones, 2 of these, and then suddenly the colours start going crazy, right? And it's like you get 1 each. And it kind of occurred to me that right after ArenaNet was scrambling with War Eternal, after War Eternal, if they had just nailed this format, if they had immediately thought mini X-Packs, sell the start, bundle the rest, 1 big release each quarter, if they just figured that out, if that idea came out straight away, right when they got caught with their pants down here, if that Icebrood Saga announcement on stage was this, the Secrets of the Obscure thing, it could have saved a lot of people and a lot of time and a lot of storylines, a lot of pain, because immediately everything would have worked out straight away. It would have been an Icebrood Saga, it would have been Jormag, and then there would have been a Destroyer Saga. Clearly it would have been just another mini X-Pack, and it would have been Primordus, and then there would have been the End of Dragons, and it would have been a mini X-Pack, and then we'd be in, and you can see how it all would have just lined up. And this whole thing, this whole regret over Primordus or whatever, it's really weird, isn't it? It's like the Icebrood Saga is such an odd one out now. And I'm not saying they were unprofessional or bad at their jobs or whatever for not figuring out. It must have been chaos at the time, pure chaos. Because, you know, they got halfway through this and then they had to do a big U-turn for End of Dragons, and then they had to figure out after End of Dragons what's seriously going on. And it basically means that a lot of this stuff was just turmoil, you know. And if it had been mini X-Packs straight away, it's an interesting thing to think about, isn't it? So yeah, there you go. And then oh, and that's it. Oh, we've read them all. I've been hoping while I was standing here that these guys would have some ambient dialogue, but I guess not. Oh, look, the race is starting. We can get that achievement now. Oh, if you'd like to talk about Elder Dragons, I'm sure my friend here would love to walk you through our studies. I might just do that. Thank you. I'm a little bit disappointed with this, though. The Primordus meta thing is good, but, I mean, they didn't really give us much new, did they? They just rehashed what we already knew. There's some nice details and some interesting ideas, but I kind of... I don't know, it feels like there's no more to talk about with the Elder Dragons, you know? Because there could have been a chance here where they really dig in deeper and be like, oh, the Astral Ward knew a bit more, by the way, so let's round this out. Here's some other details about the Elder Dragons that make the previous saga make even more sense. But, I don't know. I feel like we didn't really get that. Okay, I've got to get back to the Wizard's Trial. I don't really remember the entrance, but we obviously have a thing over there, so I'm gonna just go on the lower floor and just try to go through here. Guys, I want to apologize to everyone in chat. I'm being really, really shit through these videos and looking at the live chat. If anyone's got a cool correction or question or comment and you feel like I've missed it, you can just post it again, and I'm reading it now, because I can read it while we wait for the races and stuff. Jormag's story in 3 maps would have been too short. No, I disagree. Okay. Because Jormag kind of only got 1 map, kind of got 1.5 maps, alright? Drizzlewood is Jormag and a Civil War at once, right? Bjorn is clearly a Jormag map, right? And fits very well. Grothmar essentially was, but it also... Essentially, I think if it was the Icebrood Saga and it was really focused on just doing the dragon, not a Civil War storyline as well, and it was really filled in, I think it could have been fine. I think 3 maps would have worked. And besides, I also don't think that the number of maps actually has that much bearing on how quality of a story they can tell, genuinely. I think that it has very little bearing. But oh god, it's nerve-wracking now that I'm in the lead. Oh, it's swapping. Shit. Alright. Okay, where are we? We're squares. Diamonds. Ah, I did that little hop and I shouldn't have. Okay, diamonds. Oh my god. No, come on, man. Alright, wait. I need to actually focus up. We're going to go to squares next. Oh, that's very good. Diamonds. And we're out. We're through. Easy. But the thing is, just because they would do a mini X, to finish it round out what I was just saying, just because they would do a mini X back, it doesn't mean they wouldn't make the same mistakes. We would probably still see the Ice Road Saga trailer featuring the Civil War, and we probably still would have seen, you know, centaurs getting whipped and crate below a sinking ship and stuff. Probably they would have gone a bit too big with it. And actually, that's a thing that would be tricky to, would be very easy to ignore about Secrets of the Obscure, but a victory for Secrets of the Obscure, I think, is that, yeah, Secrets of the Obscure didn't make that mistake, did it? It didn't bloat. You know, this is a pretty strict story about the Wizard's Court and their fight against demons in the mists. And it's not to say that other lore isn't in this. I mean, Christ, look at everything we've been reading. But as far as the main plot's concerned, they haven't bitten off more than they can chew. They haven't become too ambitious, which has always been ArenaNet's thing. They're so passionate and ambitious, you know, and too much ambition can be a bad thing. There we go, we get the thing. So I think Secrets of the Obscure's done very well with that, actually. They had a clear idea of the story they want to tell, and they've told it well. Alright, so this has become a bit of a rehash of the Wizard's Tower episode, but I think we're kind of done with the stuff I want to do now. Oh, wait. Oh, I gotta go do the thing again, but get all 30 targets. Because I missed 5 of the targets, we actually missed an achievement. That's 3 AP. It's quite a lot. And some of these other big quests. Alright, let's get back to Amnitas, guys. I don't want the whole episode to just be at the Wizard's Tower. Oh, it's finally cooling down a little bit. Do you know what? I'm going to have a really cold shower when I'm done with this. And it is going to feel the best. You feel like this expansion has more lore opportunity than previous End of Dragons? I don't agree with that. I mean, what does that even mean, lore opportunity? End of Dragons has a fuck ton of cool lore. It talked a lot about the purists. It really figured a lot out about, you know, the emperors and empresses in the intervening years. There's all that celestial blessing stuff. They have a lot of cool tidbits and hints and things in the Echovald Forest about Ergos and the Heart of Grenth, which I guess is not related to the Heart of the Obscure. It might be, actually. It depends on these waiting story. There's a lot of story. There's a lot of lore. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue in End of Dragons. And you know, now that we're living in the mini-X-Pact world, I'm so ready to just believe, okay, there'll be a Kirin Peak thing. Maybe not next year, but maybe the year after. Drowned Kaineng will be then. I can really feel it, you know? It feels eminently possible. You know, I was feeling quite sour about a lot of areas of story and lore with this franchise right before this thing came out. Because it kind of felt like, fuck, you know, we'll never get... You know, Cantha's gone, that's it, it's over. That's kind of how I felt, but... I see now how wrong I was in that feeling. I see now how stupid that was, because it kind of all feels very possible. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of people that say, I'm not interested in Secrets of the Obscure, I'm going to skip it or whatever. But to those people, as long as there are sales, you know, like I can imagine in like 2 years, they might do a sale where Secrets of the Obscure and next year's and the one after that, right? Like you get a 3-for-1 discount or something on all 3 expansions. And I think that's going to be a really good, nice, valuable proposition for people who can now come in and play all that content and they don't have to wait for the quarterlies to get more stuff. And I think they can meaningfully come and continue playing Guild Wars 2. And there's no reason why Guild Wars 2 can't go on for another 10 years, 15, 20 years indefinitely. As I actually am beginning to think a lot of MMOs will now. I think the format does work. Again, this is me being all optimistic and ambitious and hopeful because, I don't know, I'm just vibing on the game a lot at the moment. But I feel like that's a very possible future.
There's the power.
But yeah, on that note as well, here's a really weird thought, guys. All right, let's fast forward the clock 50 years, okay? You're about to retire from work or something, right? Or maybe you are already retired. Or maybe you're chronically sick, okay? And you're laid up in bed constantly. Maybe you're in a home or something. Do you think you'll be playing Guild Wars 2?
Ember.
It's a weird thought, isn't it? Because everything about me makes me think, well, of course not. The game will be over by then. But, you know, you've got to be careful. If you grew up as an 80s or 90s or even early 2000s gamer, you got to be careful because the industry is not what it was.
There's the power.
You know, I think for a lot of us who grew up in its explosion, you know, anyway, it's post 80s comeback. We all kind of just thought of games as being a certain thing, the industry being a certain way.
An ocean trench.
But I think it's going to turn out a lot of these products are a lot more long-legged than we thought. Can I solo a champion Chuck? And on this build, can I solo one? I think I'd rather have Arcane Shield. I don't know, man. Or substitute Guild Wars for WoW or insert your favorite MMO. Will it be there? Will it be doing things? I think a lot of these products will be around. Not just 10 years, but 20 years. I mean, guys, we're already 11 into this game. We're already 11 years.
A brilliant ember.
And I know that seems insane, but also you can look at like, you know, like Final Fantasy XIV doing its big graphics overhaul later. There might be a day where Guild Wars gets to do that as well. Of course, it all depends on the studio in question and whether they cannibalize their own product with other products.
How'd that be?
You know, whether they totally drop the ball. Over the years, devs will leave and new devs will come and, you know, they might not have a sense of what their demo is and stuff, and things might start falling apart. But I don't know, man. It's a very odd thought.
An ancient mountain.
It's equally weird for me to be completely narcissistic for a second. It's weird for me to think someone watching this right now, one of you guys, you might be like, WP's alright, but I'm not too into Guild Wars at the moment. You might leave after this video. You might leave in a couple of seconds, and that's it. You're gone. But in like 2035, you're going to be bored on YouTube, and you'll be like, oh shit, WP's still making videos. And and I'll be there, you know? Or what about that? You're in a home, and you're watching WP videos in a home, right? Or something. That's so weird to think about as well, you know? And nothing would have changed, you know? They'll still be the exact same format. Anonymous, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's true. I have been making less. Thanks for the calm down there. But that's not my intent, you know. All right, let's go at this tower. I spent quite a bit of time here before. Oh, there's a rift here. I really want that rift. But how do we get up there? Is there a tag? No, he's very low on health. Can we get there in time? We got to climb fast. I don't think I'm gonna get that shit. I really don't. There's no updrafts. Oh, so close! So close! 3%! Oh my god, we got it. I can't believe... Ah, but we never actually did enough damage. Or maybe we did, I don't know. Nah, we didn't get it. Rip. That's a shame.
A ripple in the earth!
Anyway, yeah, let's keep climbing up here. So there is a weird achievement I did already do on this map, by the way, which is there's some just strange items. There's like trees called like question mark, or like mining nodes. There's just really odd, weird items that you can interact with, and they actually function as chests. And I did grab all of those. Here we go. So this is Overmere Meditation Circle. So yeah, and you get some NPCs. I talked about this a few times, and you can press F. And you can meditate. Speaking of which, I've got to remember to start using my chair more. I was actually in PvP, in the PvP lobby the other day. I was using the cloud chair a little bit. And the cloud chair is really cool because I won't toggle it on. I guess I can preview it though. Oh, whatever. Previewing is going to do the same thing as well. Here, look, you can actually move on it, right? It's a moving chair, and there's a couple of those. There's the wheelchair, the Professor X, you know, or hover chair, I should say. Ain't no wheels on this. You know, there's a few things like that. And what I thought would be really cool is the this one from like Wing 7, the Throne of Adashim. This one's really cool because it like moves your camera with the animation. Look at that, how the camera actually subtly sways. I think that's the coolest shit ever. And it just makes me think, I really want to be able to move on this. Surely you should be able to, like, we're on grass here, so you can't exactly see. But it is floating, just like the cloud floats. Wouldn't it be cool if you could drift around on this? I'd use this chair all the time if that was the case. But unfortunately, It's not. Alright, so meditation circle. Let's go back down. This is Bastion Mere. Well, hold on. There's an event over there. Well, that's across the lake. I think there was a diving goggles to jump into this. I was doing a bit of fishing in there as well. Anomalous tentacle. Oh my god, we missed that as well.
Now, just as Rion taught you, Wayfinder.
This might have just been a regular event though, to be honest. We're probably actually proccing it though, because we're doing damage.
Oh, we did it! We did it! How are we feeling? Count your fingers. Take a deep breath.
So this is Narcisse. I saw her at the Bastion before, but she was in a very different area. Is she going to walk all the way over there? Successfully participate in tentacle closing events. I've done 5 of them apparently. 15 for the full thing. There's a bunch of hidden things as well. I think some of those are just map comp, because you get the lanterns once you've done map comp, and I've never map comped here. Oh god, where did she go? She ran off like real fast. So I do want to at least do a little bit of fishing. Ah, I thought they were players. I was going to say, oh, that's so cool to see players fishing here. So let's see. End of Dragons. Fishing. Horn of the Maguma Fisher. That's weird. Why? Oh, there it is. Okay, Horn of the Maguma Fisher. So, Amnitas. Any. Astral Fish. Any. Something during the day. Something during the night. Oh, this is interesting. You have a low chance at any time, but a higher chance at dusk and dawn. I like that. That's a new mechanic. I don't remember that in the original fishing set. But that's a good new mechanic, because what that means is the dusk dawn ones are less frustrating. Okay, lightning bugs. Lightning bugs and fish eggs, basically. But the daytime bait is lightning bugs, so... And I think I should have some. Yeah, there you go, lightning bugs. Alright, so let's fish some of these up. Out of range. Oh, there we go. Oh, that guy's got the whale skimmer. That is the best skimmer for sure, man. He's actually maybe dyed it better than mine. The orca, sorry. Oh, yeah, hold on. These were difficult. I need to actually eat my fishy stews. Or at least birthday cake. Shit. Oh, really? Did I just mess up? Let me type stew. Oh, I don't have any on this. Alright, fine. Birthday cake. Birthday cake at least will give me the, you know, the fishing on a full tank bonus. Narcisse teleported. See, I kind of don't like it. There's little cheats like that about dynamic event design that they started doing years ago now. It's not really a conversation anymore, to be honest. But I kind of don't like it when they cheat like that. One of the most magical things about Guild Wars 2 at launch was physically following an NPC around, you know, and being like, oh my god, this guy's actually going to walk from here to here. He's actually going to affect the world, you know. This quest is actually going to lead to a village actually being destroyed, or, you know. And all that novelty goes away when you realise events restart as quick as they do and things aren't as dynamic as maybe you expected and stuff, but still, it was really cool. I think, honestly, the only thing... I remember the very first showing of Guild Wars 2 at, like, conventions. It triggered a huge amount of discussion. In the ArenaNet came out, they showed everyone the game, and they were like, okay, what do you think? Alright? And they did it with a kind of a vibe of, like, we seriously want to know what you think, because we've done a lot of weird shit here, you know? We've built a game on dynamic events, and we've got this heart thing. Is this actually any good? Like, we really want to know, because this is weird. You know, they were innovators, and they were forging a new path, and they were trying to find a new kind of MMO. And the response to all that stuff, and the dynamic event stuff, the thing everybody responded about was energy potions. They were like, oh, energy potions, I don't like potions, why, I don't want to pay, I don't want to tax on my playtime, blah, 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 blah. And energy potions are a thing I'll actually stand in defense of these days, but whatever, right? And I remember that the studio responded to the energy potion thing. I think it was a post on Guild Wars 2 Guru or something somewhere. They were like, oh, you know, we thought you guys were going to go on about dynamic events and stuff. We were really worried about, you know, all this crazy stuff we've done. Energy potions, yeah, fine, fuck it, we can get rid of those. Basically was the response, and then they did. And I kind of want to go back in time to that moment a bit, and I think I can genuinely say now, all right, look, dynamic events are good. Well, the one thing that's kind of missing from them is like when a dynamic event is going to chain into another dynamic event, some kind of UI indicator, probably still in the top right, probably that still looks like the event UI, that's like a countdown or something that at least suggests, hey, another story is about to unfold, you might want to hang out here. Because the big problem with Guild Wars 2 was a lot of people didn't realize how magical and cohesive and like concrete everything was, because they just do an event and run off. And the reality is there's a whole story that's going on here, and you might want to follow this NPC, but without an actual live event up, people kind of didn't know to do that, and there were some really good chains like that. Of course, that started to break down in the future when meta events, like the difference between a meta event and just an event chain became a little bit trickier, and then, you know, the cheats started. I say cheats in air quotes, but, you know, they teleport NPCs around and stuff now, and things are all a little bit different. But the other thing about dynamic events I think they missed out on, for this idea of a truly dynamic world, specifically when you think about like defensive areas, I would have loved like an actual dynamic scaling system where events just don't just scale based on number of players, but events scale based on number of times an event has been succeeded already. So what do I mean by that? Well, take like some random ass Tyrion event. I don't know. I don't even know if this is true. It's true in the personal story. But imagine this place can get attacked. It's really easy to defend it and just like fend all the mobs off over and over and over again, because it will scale, but it will never be that hard. But what if the first time you do it, it gets attacked by like 5 regular risen? The next time you do it, it's 10 regular risen plus an abomination. And then the next time you do it, it's a horde of abominations. And then the next time you do it, risen knights even starts one. Basically to force it to flip, you know? And maybe the events go up as well. And like an actually dynamic setup thing like that, you don't have to painstakingly go in there and figure out every single little step of the way when implementing it. But across the whole world, that would have been really interesting. It would have worked really well on maps like Harathi, which generally were just in a state of entirely filled or entirely non-filled. You know, you actually would have had a back and forth battleground. And it would have changed the way that they treated meta event bosses and stuff and put everything on timers, which was another bit where the soul of the dynamic event system sort of died. Anyway, check food, thank you. I can't check food because I have guild invites to sort through, and I can't just close these. I'm really sorry. Yeah, you guys can't mail me because it will get stuck in the backlog. Sorry, it's fine. Look, we just did a bit of fishing. It's fine. I'm in no rush. We can do more fishing later. Wow, speaking of dynamic events looping, this one's back already. Thank you, Jones. That's very nice.
Maximum pain.
We gotta finish the Bastion of the Natural at least today. I mean, Christ, how long have we been going? An hour and a half already? Fuck me.
A ripple in the earth.
It's so weird to be in PvE and see that do like fucking 18k. I'm on Celestial as well. I'm not even necessarily doing a lot of damage here, or shouldn't be. Oh, he's actually very tanky.
Attention nearby ward. Anomalous rift detected. Defend the Bastion.
Oh, the meta's triggering as well here. I gotta get away from that. I should have stood close enough that Arcane Brilliance would tag him there. We would have had a lot more health. I don't remember this guy being so dangerous last time.
1,000 storms.
And Drizzlewood's another really interesting map for that whole thing as well, because on Drizzlewood you kind of see another take on the whole thing. These are all conversations that don't matter anymore. Guild Wars is basically settled with what it does with dynamic events and so on. But if you guys remember at launch, there was a lot of like back and forth with the reviews of the game, like whether it had been a bait and switch and whether it was really doing what it had purported to do, because people were imagining something much more dynamic and a very different thing. And you know, in any other branch, any other genre in the game industry, you might expect a bunch of other products come out, take what ArenaNet did well and improve on it even further. But MMOs are so big, so stagnant, so prone to failure, so designed by committee and resistant to innovation that we haven't seen that happen, you know. I mean, FF14 has the Fates, which is also like another slightly different take. I'm sure WoW's got its own take, but nothing like that really guts it, you know. And they're all just tack-ons. to existing products. I'm happy to do the tentacle again since there's an achievement for it. Hey WP, I don't know if you talked about this already, but do you have any thoughts on who might have built the Eye of the North with the release of Sutu?
Oh, goodness.
And it's nice to catch you online. Thanks, man. It's a good question, isn't it? It's like one of those fun old mysteries that might be
can make any progress.
now related.
Focus on the beast. Kill it.
I believe there was kind of a common sort of headcanon amongst most people that it was Jotun made. If that's true, you'd think that ArenaNet, with the whole Dagda thing in this, that they would have a little nod to it. I guess there's no references to that. There was another thing I realised there's no references to. Oh yeah, there's a comment on one of my, I think the last part. I read it right before coming online.
How are we feeling? Count your fingers. Take a deep breath.
Yeah, let's see her teleport, shall we? I mean, she's welcome to do that in lore, you know. She can cast teleportation magic. Man, I'm so thirsty. This coffee has done nothing. Oh, look, it's like an astral teleport. That's funny. Yeah, someone was like, oh, I'm really salty about Magdea. I just raised my eyebrows, in case you guys didn't get that, right?
A ripple in the earth.
They're like, I'm really salty about Magdea. So I guess Magdea is not referenced in this expansion. I haven't seen anything about Magdea in the expansion, I must be honest, in Sutu. And that's another one of those outstanding mysteries. It's like, yeah, what's going on there? Again, that's Fofire related, which I've mentioned in passing a couple of times here already. So yeah, there are a few topics, I guess, that Sutu didn't go into. But that's fine. You know, it doesn't have to touch everything. Just enough to give us confidence that we know they know the setting and they're excited about the same things we are. That's all it really has to do. There's a similar story going on with Futurama, the Futurama reboot at the moment. Now, I've only seen 2 episodes. I got very bored by them, to be honest, and I'll probably binge it when the full thing's out. But in case you guys didn't know, Futurama's back again now for like the 5th time. And there's a thing going on the subreddit, the discussion about it at the moment, where someone, you know, in some of the episodes, they were really good at like referring to old plot points. Like there's an old episode with like Amy and Kif like creating a bunch of tadpoles, like their kids, and then it was just never touched on again. Well, in the reboot, they return to that. And they like start raising the kids, and there's like good continuity and stuff. And it's the same thing. It's, you know, it's, oh, the writers remember these cool things. I'm a big fan, and I remember that, and now they do too, and I'm getting more content. And stuff like that happened quite a few times. There's been like a lot of references in the new Futurama season. They've done a really good job with the references, and they're all over the place. But what that led to the discussion online on the subreddit was a bunch of people were going, why hasn't this been referenced? You know, they're going to do the Kif and Amy thing. Why wasn't this here? Why haven't they done this? Why? And then it became like a meme, and everyone was like, oh, why haven't they done this? Why, you know, like jokily. And it's a funny thing where it's like, you know, as soon as you open that door, suddenly there's an expectation that everything is referred to. Like someone was jokingly saying, why hasn't Scruffy's bucket been referenced again? You know, and it's kind of, it's the same thing. They don't have to do everything, just enough, you know. By the way, the Sea of Clouds, that's called. I'm not sure I've ever been here before on any character. I don't remember coming here before. And so there's the world below in Amnitas. And I guess we can see the stars above us, even though it's day. So the edge of the atmosphere thing, what do you guys think? Was I talking shit the whole time? Does it feel like we're on the edge of the atmosphere here because it is day and yet I can see the stars? There's no curve of the horizon. There's no like mechanic or story or anything about the atmosphere being thin and it difficult to breathe, hypoxia or anything like that. Hasn't been mentioned. Not that it necessarily needs to. Right, and we get this other island here at the Bastion the Natural. The Fates pissed you off when you tried FF14. I think they did some good things with the Fates. One improvement the Fates have over dynamic events is in Guild Wars, if you join an event chain halfway, or a meta event even halfway, you don't really have any context as to what the fuck is going on. Like, there's... You just got to roll with it, right? In Final Fantasy, though, they have lore written. They treat them like quests where, you know, there'd be a journal. And so, actually, on the Fate event UI, it says up there, like, it's got a little paragraph to catch you up with the current story. And that's a huge commitment to write that much fucking detail into every single goddamn little event. But that's what they did on there, which is a slight improvement, I think. It's still a bit fiddly to stop in the middle of an action-packed, go, 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 this is happening immediately, right here, right now, pay attention sort of experience to now stop and go and read a bunch of text. So it's not like a perfect solution, but it is something that they did differently. Aside from that, I think they're pretty much the same as events, aren't they?
Rage at maximum.
Who's this tanky-ass fly? Sorry, I know I'm exploring weirdly here. I don't want to go to the next Bastion until we're definitely done with this one, and we missed a POI there. And more importantly than the POIs, there might be lore journals and things around there. I didn't even adequately explore. Oh my god, why are there so many tanky... Oh, well, we used the mastery anyway. So many tanky bugs. So I just want to have a look. Yeah, and if you guys think there's a lore book in some of this area, let me know. That Chuck is back again. I won't do it 3 times in a row, don't you guys worry. The only thing you would like to see is clouds moving in the middle of the map, like the load screen art. I don't know what these abandoned nests are. I think there's an achievement to check them all for an egg or something. Lots of ups and downs. Literally all fates are crap. I genuinely don't see the difference between a fate and a dynamic event. Just if you take a random ass Guild Wars 2 dynamic event, I don't see how it's any different to... I mean, they're slightly different. You have to click a button to opt into a fate. Fine. You know, overwhelmingly, they're not the key content in Final Fantasy. They have a much better content around them, don't get me wrong. But they're not that different to dynamic events. If you take a random event in Guild Wars 2, I don't think, you know... Is that mind-blowing, me killing that Chak over and over again? Is that somehow substantively better than something that a fate would give me? It's the same thing. Thanks for the WP. We'll watch the rest tomorrow. No, you won't. You'll watch it in 15 years. Alright, catch you later. Have a good one. You know what? I want to check all these little cubbies now. All these, just in case, you know. We're not in the Wizard's Tower anymore, but you never know, guys. One of them might have E in it. It was the soundtrack that played when you got close. Yeah, that's annoying. They do have that really stupid music that plays over and over and over and over and over again on a loop. Oh, no, there's a rift here. This is Vass's tower. Oh, I thought there was a rift here, but no, now it's moved. It's over there now somewhere. Vass's tower. Vass the Forgotten. Somebody teach me more about Vass. Has anyone got anything to say in here, maybe? E is in Epoch. Oh, yeah, and also E is in E. It's all the same, baby. Hey, WP, I've been seeing a lot of late, but well-deserved love for Guild Wars 2 online. Is this expansion especially good in your mind? I kind of did a big review about it on the last part. I don't want to ramble on about it all again for people who might be watching this stuff back to back. But yeah, I think it's pretty on par with End of Dragons. Slightly better in some respects, slightly worse in other respects. But pretty on par with End of Dragons, is what I would say. In terms of subject material, I'm really loving it. I'm loving all the lore and I'm loving all the interactables, and I think it's really good in that department. I looked back, speaking of that, by the way, guys, I did look back onto Steam. I think they have like 25 reviews. It's like 25. So if you're curious about like the everyman's take on the X-Pack and the things that people like, the things that people don't like, that's an interesting little review area to read. Actually, I was reading it and someone was like, what was their criticism? They had some petty criticism, something stupid and minor. And I'm not just saying that arrogantly, like, oh, I know what's best or whatever. It really was a petty thing. But it caused a negative review, and I wonder if I were there, right, if I was a game dev and I'd release an expansion or a game, and I saw on a review, the review is nothing except one specific complaint about the game. One specific complaint about one specific idea, one specific implementation. It's a very keyed in, direct criticism, and it's a negative review. I was reading it and I was thinking, if I was the dev, I would be so incentivized on my next release to not do that thing, or to fix that thing, or to do that differently, because that's flipping a review from red to green. And I thought that's and I'm not suggesting people do this, but I was thinking that's probably an easier way to petition for change than anything else, you know, like go wade into the forums, be surrounded by hundreds of other messages, right? Buried by the screaming and the ranting and the crying on a forum, or make a review, a negative review with one specific clearly written issue. And I thought, you know, that scream, I was like, that guy, and it was a petty thing, and I was thinking, this doesn't need to be changed at all. But I was thinking, that looks really like they would probably change that. For all I know, I mean, I don't know that they even give a damn about the Steam review page or whatever. But it was kind of a weird thought, you know, and that must be true across the whole industry. Okay, this place we didn't come to yet. This is the Concoctor's Lab. I've come here once before. I did an event where it was like another cooking style event. Oh, no, not a cooking style event, like an alchemy event. And hopefully it pops and I can show you guys. But essentially, there's a lot of lore in here where you know, like this, these are devourer eggs, and there's like goop, and there's bones and things, and you need to like conjure things and create rituals. You need to read a recipe book here, and it will give you a list of things, and you've got to collect the right things. And all of them you can interact with, and they're all quite fun and curious. Like that's a keg brawl, not keg brawl. Shit, what's that called? Oh, come on. Okay, prove your expertise to me, chat. What is the unreleased activity that had a data mined map and a data mined loading screen? It was essentially basketball. Okay, I just remembered what it is. I think it was called Basket Brawl. And it never came out in the end. That ball is from Basket Brawl. Believe it or not. That's some fucking nerdy trivia I just gave you right there. I wonder how many players come to this, look at that ball, and they're like, I know what that's from. Yeah, Basket Brawl. That is it, yeah. So that's quite funny. I like to imagine a dev just like going through the database, like looking for different assets they can use, and they're like, why is there a basketball here? But I'm pretty sure that's what that's from. You never heard of that? Well, you want to go watch some WoodenPotatoes videos, you know? There's a wealth of them out there. And then the bees here. And she's crying in the corner. Please don't tell anyone here. If Galrath finds me, I'm dead. Isn't he at the Bastion of Strength? If you upset that man, there's no distance he won't go to get you for it. I'd run even further if I wasn't worried about banning my post. The cryptos are nothing compared to him. Oh, wow. I thought she was hiding from the bees, but no, it's the much more serious threat of the demons. It was meant for Dragon Bash? No, I don't think so. I don't think it has anything to do with Dragon Bash. I think it's much older than Dragon Bash. It was one of a suite of activities that never quite got implemented. Who knows, guys? Next mini X-Pack, they could do, you know, their feature could be activities, and they'll add activities to, you know, the queues, the unranked queues, or there can be a special activities queue, you know? Because they are forms of PvP, and some of them are pretty good. Do a bit of balance for them. Bring in some new blood. Because they're good casual fun.
A ripple in the earth.
No, that's some quality reused assets. Yeah, everyone's complaining about asset reuse, but I bet they're not complaining about that, even though that's also asset reuse. Yeah. Actually, is it technically asset reuse if it never got implemented in the first place?
Dagda asked me to calibrate her telescope while she took care of repairs at the Celestial Ring. It was a little scuffed from the tower lockdown, so I gave it a quick polish. Reapplied freshly carved bloodstone. When I looked through the lens to make sure it was clear, I don't know exactly what I saw, but I swear the sky is busier than usual. Stars I didn't recognize. Constellations that we've never mapped.
Yeah, we read that before, or listened to that last time, so we don't have to talk about it again. But yeah, they did do Keg Brawl. That was different. That actually came in the end, yeah. Activities-based X-Pack sounds like game design suicide. Well, nobody's saying that, are they? Use your noggin for a second. It's like saying that this is a Wizard's Vault-based X-Pack, is it? Yeah, because I remember the opening story was about the Wizard's Vault, and then Act 2 was all about the Wizard's Vault, and then Act 3 was all about the Wizard's Vault. And they did, the first meta was about the Wizard's Vault, and this second meta is going to be about the Wizard's Vault, by the way. And then in a couple of months, I don't know, about 60 days, in fact, I think we can see the exact number of days in where, let me guess, the Wizard's Vault, yeah. In about 58 days, they're going to do another thing about the Wizard's Vault. It's the third map. It's Wizard's Vault related. You know, obviously, there'll be other things in the expansion, alright? They can do a feature and a story. Your favourite interaction about asset reuse was when someone went, imagine if half the assets in Season 3 were reused. And I had to chuckle and go, well, yeah, half of them were reused from before. Yeah, I mean, it's not new. Any kind of asset reuse discussion that we're having in Sutu, I think is the same as could have been valid anywhere else in the game.
Keeps you going when days start to blur.
Vass. We never got the chance to meet her, but look at this place. Look at her teachings. When the world was being ravaged by elder dragons, she tried to preserve whatever she could. We'll never see certain ecosystems again, but some of these creatures are alive because of her.
And I'll claw my way through armies to keep them safe.
Me too.
I like the idea of the Char, like, rolling his eyes at the petite human. So, like, trying to be ferocious with him. I really like this, though. This whole Vass thing is very exciting. So I guess to some degree the Wizards' Court were trying to help with the Elder Dragon issue. They all seem like pretty standard fish around. But there you go. So that's the Bastion of the Natural, guys. So the question is, what Bastion do we do next? The Bastion of the Obscure? I think I'm going to leave the Bastion of the Obscure for last, because I like to give people blue balls.
I'm picking up abnormal rift readings. Nearest astral ward, report for defense.
We've not got lucky at all with the rifts. Usually there are rifts popping right here on this Bastion. And I feel like the Obscure one, you know, that's the Bastion of mysteries, you know. That's clearly going to have the best stuff, am I right? Well, actually, not necessarily, because there's some really cool stuff in these other Bastions. So let's move on now.
Cryptists are on every Bastion. Managed to keep them at bay, but we're not in the clear yet.
Oh, here you go. This event's up now. Help Zizzle make concoctions. We can make a concoction. Alright, so check it out. We come over to this. We get the recipe. We move the recipe to the side. This potion is not for those looking for some sort of affection or love potion, that is. Unless you're keen to, on your suit, are trying to maul you to death. When this potion makes contact with the skin of any creature or subject, it will force their sweat glands to secrete fluids that will mix with the stimulant, attracting any non-sapient creatures nearby and causing them to become hostile towards them. So, look, we get a list of ingredients. Hylic potion. Poison, trust me. A jar of bees, please don't drop it. Fresh stomach, don't ask me from where. And spiky fruit. But you'll see, it's kind of like, you have to use your brain a little bit, because it says Hylic poison, but the tag here is just poison. But we can guess that's probably right. So we grab the poison, and we go to our workstation, and we pop that in. And we want a jar of bees, and we remember where the bees were. I really like these events. And these are formats we've seen that ArenaNet have used before. This is a kind of reuse, you know. It's an archetype that they've reused, but they're really good, and I'm so happy for them to do it over and over and over again. Fresh stomach, don't ask me from where. Oh, look at that! It's literally called a basket brawl ball. Whoa, that blows my fucking mind. Hold on, but what does that mean to anyone? What does that mean? Who named that? Is that the Astral Ward? Did the Astral Ward play basket brawl? So that's just fruits. Those are flowers. Those are bees. Teeth there. A basketball brawl. I wonder what recipe uses that. Worms? Question mark? Do worms' stomachs count, maybe? Guts. Let's do the guts. That's probably going to be a stomach. I have this horrible anxiety the event's about to end because other people are finishing their drinks. So there's potions with Snape, you know. And then a spiky fruit. Well, there was fruit in here, right? Here we go. Pretty the standard fruit that you get in Guild Wars. And there we go. We get the concoction and we put it in the crate.
Ah, this looks usable.
And this is a new recipe here now, by the way, once you've done it. This should be kept in a room temperature at all times. A living grub, bone from something big, you see, different stuff. No exceptions unless you're eager to be rid of a leg. Keep stored within a well-ventilated, dehumidified area. Do not keep past expiration date noted on the bottom container. Don't jostle. Most critically, don't drop it unless you're prepared to meet the 6 or whatever omnipresent being you may seek guidance from.
Wonderful. I do believe these concoctions are ready for transport.
is better than any Fate, that's for sure. Okay, fair enough. Fates are pretty uninspired, I'll give you that. And it doesn't seem like a feat. Fates are like one of those things where it's like some big business boss said, oh, we got to do this because another MMO is doing it, and it's a bit of a passionless endeavor for them. That's how Fates feel.
Tagging along, I could use an extra set of hands. Mine are a bit full, you see.
And we can go with Zizzle on this group event. Oh, and this is the event we did last time. Remember, we actually did this. Oh my god, we cannot get out of this bastion, can we?
Dropped one. Catch that for me, won't you?
Oh, there we go. Oh. Zizzle, you're so cack-handed.
Oh, you're too kind.
Hey, you're too kind. I love Zizzle's voice, man. So good. It's nice to hear a new voice as well.
Back in the crate with you.
I love the clinking, dinging noise as well. That's exactly how Fates feel. I mean, yeah, that's how I would
Back in the crate with you.
I'm sure Guild Wars has its share of features like that. Yeah, they got it.
I'll cover the concoctions. You clobber the brutes.
Yeah, his VA is the same, but the voice is very different, right? I don't remember ever anyone hearing anyone that sounds like this in Guild Wars.
Better luck next time, beasties.
A swirling
That shield
gust.
effect's quite novel as well. Sorry, Basket Brawl was in game only 2 weeks. In 2016? What? No, what are you talking about? Basket Brawl was in game for 2 weeks in 2016. What do you mean? No, it wasn't. We've never been able to play Basket Brawl, have we? Hold on, 2016. What year is that? What's going on with Guild Wars that year? Oh, I missed it.
A swift
That's
stream.
season 3. POF is 2017. Hearthorns is 2015.
Do me a favor.
You're telling me there was a
Take care of
patch
these
during
pests,
season 3
will
where
you?
Basket Brawl was playable? Basket Brawl. The only thing that I remember like that is that one of the Zephyrite mini events
Is beautiful.
Now let's
is
get
gone
these
now, isn't
concoctions
it?
to the greenhouse.
What do you mean, yeah,
There's
it
the
was?
power.
During what festival? How did it play? Holy shit. If that's true, then that's a real sign of like gaps in my knowledge appearing. Because that's crazy. Did I play it? Did I do a video on it?
A swift stream.
Why is it gone now? Why did they do it for 2 weeks and then never again? How did it play?
1,000 storms.
Now for the final step. This way, Wayfinder. This way. Come, come.
Well, it was
If
during
life
Dragon
intuition
Bash.
is on the mark, and it always is, then our test subject should be appearing right
What a
about...
pleasant surprise.
You know, the more you guys talk, the more it's ringing a really little bell somewhere in the back of my head. But I have no memory of that. Wiki also says this activity was only available for 2 weeks. What? Why don't they bring it back then?
So ugly, so
Are there any YouTube videos? Did I do a YouTube video on it?
A brilliant ember.
Let's test out our
I vaguely
colorful
remember
concoction.
Dragon Bash having
An
2
ancient mountain.
options for the activity. But I thought it was that one was like... One was PvP. And that's genuinely quite well balanced and
I
quite
wonder how
good.
these fellows
And the
react
other
to a
one
swirling
was...
gust. Let's blast this one with the bomb concoction.
I don't know, I assumed just some PvE thing. Was it Basket Brawl?
Armor enhanced.
You think it was a missed opportunity when they put Kralkatoric Thorn, aka VA Fred, to voice Eparch, when they had Galraths, who could have given us a nice villain voice?
ripple
Oh,
in the
you
earth.
sound a lot deeper into it than me in terms of like what VA is capable of doing what. I don't really follow that stuff very well. I'm pretty like face and voice blind, to be honest.
My, what a repulsive temperament. This beastie.
Well, I have to come clean it then, don't I? I have to eat some humble pie. Sounds like I was talking a bunch of nonsense earlier. If Basket Brawl's actually come into the game, I mean, I mostly knew it through the data mining thing, which is absolutely still true. But if it's been in game, then you know, damn. There are a total of 8 videos on it. They all have low views. Well, that's why I never came back. But look, it's just, it depends on the infrastructure, okay? I'm telling you guys, put a queue in for it, where you can do snowballs, and you can do, you know, all the different cool shit that they've done over the years. It'd be a good, like, wild format. Good grab bag of different things. Fiesta.
A brilliant ember.
Or just only bring it back 4 festivals.
Never felt.
Or hell, I
better.
don't even know why isn't it just in the rotation with the other activities, you know? Sanctum Sprint one day, South Sun Survival another day, you know, that's all true right now.
Accelerating.
So is this what the combat tonic's going to make us look like? It wasn't put forward by ArenaNet, it was hidden almost, no achievement or anything. Look, I have to believe, maybe this is foolish to say, I have to believe that if you go back and you watch the WoodenPotatoes Dragon Bash 2016 episode, if I was still doing that kind of content at that point, because, you know, all my passion and love for a lot of areas of this fucking work have gone out the window at some point over the years. But if I was still doing those kinds of, you know, like, it's patch day, what's going on kind of videos at that point, if you watch that Dragon Bash video, I must have footage of it in there. There's no way I would have covered that festival and not talked about the cool new hidden activity. I might even have footage in the background of it. I'm going to trust in my past self. But if I didn't do the video at all, then yeah, maybe it's just gone. And that would explain, I mean, maybe I wasn't even playing the game right at that exact moment. What time of year would that have been? This is about a year before POF, basically.
Need some healing here.
You thought I did? Not sure, though? Well, that's a scary thought, isn't it? That there might come a day where someone remembers... Well, no, that happens all the time. Someone remembers what I did in a video better than I did. And that's true. Like, if you're watching one of my old LPs at the moment... Like, I had a comment on... someone was watching... Do you remember when the Derman Priory Library came out? I've been talking about it a lot in Sutu, how amazing it is. Someone went back and rewatched that. And they were like, oh my god, listen to WP, so hyped about all these stories that didn't mean anything in the end. You know, like, I was looking at the Abaddon statue and all this shit. And it's weird, it's like, if that guy watching that remembers a lot better what I said in that video than I would, because, you know, he's just watched it and I haven't experienced it for ages. Anyway, there you go, there's the Zizzle quest again. Let's go to whatever Bastion is over here. And you see, this is the thing I don't like about this map. I kind of wish the Bastions were much more separate from one another. This is pretty with the rainbow, don't get me wrong. But I kind of don't like, it's like, it's too narrow, you know? I don't know, I want to get the sense that we're way up in the sky in the atmosphere and there's like a huge gap between each thing in which, you know, I've got to find like multiple updrafts to navigate my way around. It saddens me to think that they might have initially designed it like that, but then said, oh, but then people without the mastery will struggle, and I don't know, but it doesn't take long to get the mastery. We're about to get leyline gliding here, by the way, and finish our weekly objective, which is cool. There's the World Spire again, and the, what did they call that? They called that the Outer Ring or something. We heard the proper name for that. So there's an entity. Where are we? We are now at the Bastion of Knowledge. Kind of the opposite of obscure, don't you guys think? Since we'll actually find things out here. So we come indoors into this beautiful blue area. I've got to hit this entity. It's an anomaly.
A brilliant ember.
We are in the Cellar of Arcana.
Another.
And okay, this guy has the eye mechanic again, but it's a bit weird.
A swift stream.
Leave this place, Wayfinder. I'm resealing it. Iskarin was right.
Statistically speaking, this is rather rare.
Some secrets left best forgotten. I can't remember. I've done that event before. I don't remember what she's talking about or why. I guess we're in a special room that's going to get sealed off. Doesn't look like there's any interactables. I think that event essentially sets up that there's some big mystery and an anomalies at the end, and it's like, okay, the anomalies are still something to watch. Here, look, they've got a bone skinner in here. Okay, you're going to find some cool stuff here. They've got, like, loads of assets and interesting enemies and creatures and things from all over the franchise. Here's the Caudicus statue face thing, and it's lined up so that you see it perfectly down there. Here is... what is this? It looks like the statue of Balthazar, a broken statue of Balthazar. The original ones from Guild Wars 1. Like, that looks like his sword, him holding his sword, but it's broken. Doesn't it look like that? Why that's there, I don't know. Bone skinner, bookshelf. What's through here? A broken mech. Some kind of strange shimmering blue aura. Massar armor, I guess. You can actually see the flesh of a Massar in this. What's going on at the bottom here? Isn't that a shader bug or error? Looks like some kind of shader issue in plants there. But, yeah, they... I mean, even this is a bit of a mind blow. Who the fuck is this? And there's a jade construct here of the Massar on opposite it. Another god statue. This one is... That's Balthazar again. Those are his 2 hounds. Oh, and we got teleported out. The power of the wars has teleported me. So yeah, that's a kind of a fun special place. Let's at least get the waypoint here. Oh, there's not a waypoint here. Really? Oh no, there is. It's over there. Up the staircase, I guess. Oh, I'm gonna have to be really careful about exactly how we explore this, and so we don't miss things. This is also the area under which the broken fractal colossus is. I see. Again, I don't know whether that's really canon or not. We'll have to go slow with that. It's the Bastion of knowledge. Beauty. Alright guys, I hate to do this, but I'm going to end it there. It's very hot. I've got other things I want to do. We've been going for 2 hours. Thank you everyone who's appeared in chat. It's been a lot of fun. The reason I kind of want to stop it here is I don't want to go into this a little bit tired or fatigued or whatever. I want to go into it like very fresh because there's so much to read, right? Meditation, the ultimate weapon. Foundation of the astral world. There's a lot here. A lot. So I'll see you next time for the Bastion of knowledge. But hold on, right before we end this, we got our mastery, leyline acclamation. So there you go. Let's go back to the original waypoint. Let's play the ley loom. Since that, I assume we play a loom, don't we? Maybe? Or we spin the loom, I guess. We spin the loom. There you go. And then we get on a sky scale. And we're off. And I assume that that's going to ding the wizard's vault. Ride a ley line using a griffin or sky scale. I mean, come on, that counts, doesn't it? ArenaNet. Okay, that one apparently didn't count. Maybe it has to be a pre-existing ley line. What about that? Is that a ley line? Okay, that one counted. You see how I have the top bar hidden unless I hold down a hotkey? And there's no sound when you ding, when you complete. There's a ding when you collect, but there's no ding when you do a thing, and that's kind of weird. Anyway, that's 250. It's pretty good. Oh, and speaking of which, I was going to buy on screen, show you guys what I've got here. I've got the gloves, I've got the boots, I've got the build storage expansion. You know, in terms of unlocking everything, I've got to get all of these. I've got 3 more to buy, which is one more thing. I haven't done the laurels. In theory, you can get 150 laurels. That's a lot of fucking laurels. And laurels are useful and worthwhile and stuff. Obsidian shards, maybe, for people? I don't know. I don't think that's very good. The build templates, I don't want to buy these unless I can get an equipment one alongside it. And fuck, make the equipment one really expensive, but I don't... some people might be that kind of player, but I don't really like having a build without dedicated gear for it or a dedicated look for it, you know? So I don't think I'll ever buy these unless I can buy equipment too.
There's the power.
Once you get the bags of gold done, holy shit, they hurt. I don't even really know where we are now, by the way. Once you get the bags of gold done, there's the more expensive gold you can buy, but just as a tip, get the coins or get the mastery coffers, because these vendor, if I preview, you'll see these each vendor for 1 gold as well. So you might not actually want the mastery, but it's good anyway. Legendary starter, I don't know whether I'll get that. It's obviously huge value, it's insane. But I'm trying to get all the skins in the game, so I've got to buy these sanctified things, the weapon boxes. And that's where I end up spending most of my currency now. I can get another one tomorrow. So you see here, and the way I do this, right, is when I mouse over that, imagine disaster strikes, and I can't play this game for like 4 years. Oh, what a disaster, right? Like, I'm gone. When I come back and I start trying to get all the skins again, I want to I'll probably mouse over that, and if I see it's locked, I'll know that there's stuff to do here. So I like to buy from the bottom up. Does that make sense? And in that way, I'll always know that it's an incomplete set, you know? Or the other thing I sometimes do is I'll like rush the high priority skins. Like shields always look good because they're big and, you know, they give you a good sense of what the set is like. great swords, foci, because I always go for foci, you know. Anyway, there's no meta achievement. I don't know whether these are like replacing blackline weapons now, but I feel like they should be a collection, right? Surely they should appear in there. But anyway, so that's kind of what I'm just grinding away on, and I think I will finish them before all is said and done. This other special thing, it will be a while before we get it. But yeah, I think there was something else I was going to say as well, but I've lost it. And where are we? Oh, we're at the Bastion of the Obscure. It wants us to go there, guys, but not just yet. Yeah, that legendary weapon star is, like you say in chat, it is absurdly valuable. You get a pre, you get like half of the legendary made for you straight away. It's pretty nuts. Well, there you go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry for the long drawn out outro. Come join me on Discord. I've been posted a little bit in the Final Fantasy channel for the first time in ages because I was playing Final Fantasy yesterday, and I'll probably play it again in a few hours tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, if you guys want to chat about anything, things I might have missed in the Bastion and the Natural, other thoughts. If anyone wants to link one of the Basket Brawl videos, I'll go give someone some views on that. That might be fun. Yeah, thanks everybody. See you next time. Have a great evening and take care now. Bye guys. Thanks very much.